Hello, hello, hello.
I don't know. They will hear it in the intro right now.
Oh,
Yeah, you're talking right now.
That's great, John.
Hey, guys.
Good job being
Joining
a
us.
fucking halfwit, Johnny.
It's early. It's break.
I had to pull it over. to get to
And welcome back to the Deep Threats. We are here today. It's February 26, 2023. This is episode 16. I appreciate all you guys that show up here. I know not many are here on a Sunday morning at
That's
8 a.m. in the off season. But for all of you that do watch and do chime in and watch later, I appreciate it. That being said, please like, subscribe, share if you can. I know that's Steve's favorite thing to do.
Yes, we need it. We need subs. And if you like us even a little bit.
Yeah. So that being said, what we're going to do today is
Even a little bit.
we're going to go over intros. Johnny, can you move my cam just a little bit?
Yeah, move the cam.
I'm not sure why that's.
Well, it's going to be...
I'm not sure why it was so off center. Oh, that's why you
moved
did it.
Yeah.
For Chunky Butt.
Did you measure yourself, Steve?
You did it for Chunky Butt.
Yeah.
All right. That's fine right there.
Chunky.
All right. That being said,
Anyway.
we're gonna get into our intros for today. As always, you have Johnny G on the mic.
Loser.
How's it going, everyone?
Look at that. I do like that background.
Our returning,
Sparkly.
consistent, permanent guest, Autistic Wheels.
Oh, you're autistic
Am I
again?
producer?
He's not the redheaded stepchild or the brother anymore?
Yeah,
No, not yet.
Am I a producer yet?
No, you have to show up to produce to produce.
Oh.
I'm here.
That's not what a producer does. All right. Anyways,
Did show up.
moving on to Gimli.
Oh, listen, that is a
Gimli,
compliment. That's
oh.
a compliment to me. All right,
That is a weird compliment.
You may
your
not.
axe?
I bring one next time.
That is a weird compliment.
You don't like what? You didn't like the movies?
No, not compared to the books.
All right, that's fair.
better than the movie.
I never read the
They
book.
are.
I never.
Anyways,
Are they really?
yeah, way better.
Damn.
Way better. And it's
One of
probably
those
probably
people.
another 4 hours of film
Oh shit.
per movie. Yeah.
Okay.
If you ever watched the extended Lord of the Rings,
Yeah, those
you
are
almost
Four
slit
and a
your
half
wrist half the
hours.
times.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
There's a 5-hour film, the last one.
What?
Dude, I fell asleep 4 times. I tried to watch it. It was hard. Anyways,
Oh, damn.
we're going to jump out of this. We're going to jump right into the news, Johnny.
Right into the news.
Oh, unmute us.
I just did.
That's-
you
All right. It's in the news this week. We're going to go over Robbie the Chosen Anderson will no longer be returning to the Arizona Cardinals. Also,
Well, he's expected to be moved on.
all
Or
right.
to move
So
on.
as we said the week prior, right?
Yeah, he's gonna.
Arizona's
get
probably going to move on from him.
Yeah.
He costs too much
Yeah.
for his no ability.
The Chinese don't want you. I don't either.
All
That's
right.
right, get out.
Also, the Cardinals are hiring
Robert.
Robert. Gee, what?
Not a Robert.
I can't spell.
Hiring Robert?
Robert. Well, he is Rodriguez.
Oh, what?
A linebacker coach.
Good morning, guys. We're
As
coming
their-
at you.
As their linebacker coach. I'm sorry, guys.
Jesus Christ.
It is early and it is Sunday.
This is dangerous.
All right, number 3, getting into more news. Matt Nagy back where he started as the Chiefs OC. We fail up in the NFL.
Wait.
The fact that man got a second chance.
At OC.
on
after-
that
OC.
team.
He was already with them as the quarterbacks coach.
You know what Andy Reid said?
Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, you don't need
well,
to be
well,
coach.
no, he was with them.
quarterback's coach.
He was with them before Mahomes.
Yeah.
Went to
He
Chicago,
was.
failed, came back for them
He's
to
an
give
Andy
him
Reid
a
prospect.
position. Yeah.
You know what's funny though?
Look at that smile
Are
on his
Andy
face.
Reid and Bill Belichick just trying to prove who can bring up the most coaches?
Yes.
So they're like, ah, shit, bring him back. We'll fix him.
But they
No.
do. There's the point.
Patricia, Nagy.
That Patricia needs to be like.
Apparently, Patricia might be out in New England because of his interview for Denver.
I wouldn't trust him as a peewee football.
Right.
Just a
Wow.
football coach.
Now
Yeah.
that's good for rumors. All right, moving on. We're going to go to the Lions release, Michael Brockers.
Yeah. D-line Michael Brockers.
I say I understand this just for the cap move,
Yeah, but
but
This was out of the blue, though. I didn't understand it, like you
Well,
said, other than
he
the cap.
wanted more money.
Okay.
You know what's funny about this with our mock draft last week? Somebody took another edge in the mock.
I did. Yeah.
But that's an edge, not a D-line.
It's all right.
You can slide everybody over.
Well, and they
Good
also
catch,
have who'd they take? You mentioned him a couple weeks ago.
they have 2 defensive ends. They
Yeah,
drafted.
the one
Yeah,
edge.
no,
I can't remember his name.
I can't either. But they
He's
did,
really good, and he had like 6
Yeah.
sacks.
He was
and
like a
8
6th-round pick.
Yeah, they
was
both
a
produced
sixth-round
last
pick.
year. But I mean, if you have a shot at Miles Murphy or Tyree Wilson,
You're gonna take him.
you're probably going to take him in
Depth
six.
helps.
Yep.
Depth definitely helps.
It
you
sure
know?
does. And when you're a
Especially at
proven
edge.
producer, yeah, I like
I
that.
mean, the Browns could always use depth since Myles Garrett crashes his car every other year.
Oh, Jesus.
Moving on.
Kellen Winslow.
So moving on. Did you say Kellen Winslow?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Moving on. Derek Carr's agent is realistic, unlike Danny Dimes' agent, who's looking for 35, or Derek Carr's looking for 35 mil per year.
You don't think
Okay,
Daniel Jones is about to grab
so with
35?
Derek Carr wanting 35 mil, where do you have Daniel Jones at?
Not at 35.
I have him at
If-
25 max.
Well, no. Here's where
30.
here's where I have Daniel Jones at. It's 34.9999. He's not better than Derek Carr,
My
so
but
if,
he played very well last
He's
year.
not that close to
so
Derek
if
Carr,
Daniel
though.
Jones leaves,
As soon as I saw
if
this,
he leaves the Giants, he's not going to amount to much because of the coach.
I disagree with that because as long
Brian
as you have
Dable.
a better O
I
line
think-
than what you have on the Giants, he'll be fine.
Brian Dable is the quarterback whisperer.
No. You know what? I'm so sick
Look
of quarterback
look
whisperers.
at Josh
No,
Allen
There's no
this
such thing as a
year.
quarterback
That's
whisperer.
true.
I think
Look at
there's
Josh
a mesh.
Allen
I think
this
there's a
year.
mesh. 2 guys know how to do well.
Yeah, but Josh Allen and Brian Dable,
Didn't Josh Allen
he
make
had
it?
his worst year since.
But didn't Josh Allen make it
2008.
further than he's ever made it before?
Well, I
this
mean
year?
that kind of helps when you played a neutral field.
Oh,
Okay, moving on. Davis Webb, former New York Giants backup quarterback,
Yes.
who played the last game for the Giants, was now hired as the Broncos quarterback coach. Explain
Davis-
that one.
What? Webb?
so he was.
Davis Webb, who played that last game for the Giants last year, because they didn't want to play Daniel Jones because they said, screw it, we're the same spot
Yeah,
no matter
you don't
where
want
we
to
are.
get hurt. Yeah.
He just got hired as the Broncos quarterback coach. Now he's teaching Russell Wilson how to play football.
That, wait. Wow.
Make
Yes.
sure you gotta make it to the playoffs, bud.
Interesting. He's 26 or
29. I think he'll be 29 by season start.
I mean, why not? Because you're gonna get
That's
paid.
his first coaching job?
yes,
He's a quarterback. He
He
literally
just-
just became
I know,
a
that's
backup
what I'm
quarterback.
saying, though. That's-
No, I'm talking to autistic too.
No, but he went straight from, like, that's a hell of a jump, right?
yeah.
Like, usually, like.
Do you consider that a promotion when you're making less money?
I mean,
I mean,
he's
you're not getting
making that
hit
much
every
as a
week.
I mean, like, he was
I mean,
making
honestly,
okay
that-
money as a backup, but
But he's not making millions as a
No,
quarterback.
but like
coach.
Taylor Heineke said, the best job in America is
is a
being
backup quarterback. I agree. Completely agree. All right, Chargers parted ways with their head trainer, Mitchell. He's got more injuries under his belt than probably any historical.
Was he the one that stabbed?
War.
That was
yeah.
the first comment that was on this tweet.
he's the dude that stabbed.
that
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod.
yeah,
yeah.
there it is.
All right.
TT2
Justin
gloves.
Herbert's career started by one bad puncture.
One deep needle in a lung.
Oh my God.
He collapsed his freaking lung.
So we called this Wednesday. Bubba Ventrone got hired by the Browns.
I love
Special
it.
teams coordinator for the Browns now. He came from
and
Indy.
assistant head coach.
Yes.
4 top 10 seasons as a
I
special
hope he's the
teams
head coach
coordinator.
halfway
Hold
through
on,
the year,
hold on.
Bubba.
Say that again, KJ, because people
He
were
came
talking
from
about it.
Indy, and he had 4 top 10 seasons as a special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
So that should be hopefully an improvement. I don't know how.
And he played with the Browns for his longest stint of his career.
He was a special teams dude with the Browns too.
Yes. And
He was not good.
I think they were in top 8, I think.
No.
When he
was-
played?
Yeah.
It was not because of him. On
Yeah, well,
special
that's the thing.
Or maybe the one.
Like, I don't know if he's the common denominator, right?
No.
Like, or if there's other factors.
No, I did.
I don't even care. I just like his name.
I did too. No, I did.
Bubba
I did.
Ventrone.
I did see that he's like allegedly one of the top dudes that should be looking at a head coaching spot in the next 2 years.
Yes.
I mean,
Not if he's coming from the Browns.
No,
Bobby
I mean he will be. He will be. Yep.
Moving
Bye,
forward.
Kevin. A lot of people. I saw this on Twitter. Hold on. Let's talk about this real
Is that
quick.
by Felicia? By Kevin?
why do you
Well,
think Jim
Well, how
Schwartz
about-
got hired?
Let's
Why
get
do you
through
think we
let's
hired
get through the
Jim?
news and I'll come back to Bubba.
Because I mean, it's.
Let's get through the news. I'll come back to Bubba. You want to talk about it, right?
Yeah, just
so
a little
let's
bit.
get through the news. We'll come back. All right. Bobby Wagner and the Rams agree to part ways. Did we already say that?
No.
No.
We did not.
God, I feel like I just repeated myself.
I think we. It
We
was.
just said somebody else.
It was rumored on Wednesday, but it officially happened after
So
the show.
So wait a minute. Did Rams defense just potentially get like the worst it's ever been? Because they're gonna.
Yes.
I mean, they're
you might
going-
have no Aaron Donald, right? We still don't know what the hell's going
Well,
on.
I think he retires now.
No, he's not going to. He said he's going to come back.
Yeah,
but
he
like,
did
do
say.
you come back with Jalen Ramsey gone?
No.
And Bobby Wagner
No,
gone?
that's what I'm
no,
saying.
Ram-
Jalen Ramsey is gone too.
No,
They already said
Ramsey is
trade
still-
Ramsey is a trade prospect.
He is a
for
trade
cap space.
prospect now.
I have them getting a second round for Ramsey.
They own like $24 million.
Yeah, I have them getting a second round for Ramsey. I don't even have them getting a first, honestly.
Well, no, like most. Actually, I think a lot of what I saw a draft or a trade opportunity the other day was Jalen and a fifth for a second and a third. So it might have been 2 seconds. It was 2 seconds. It was like this year's and next year's second.
Yeah, I don't have him getting a first. He's
So-
too old and
He is old.
he's inconsistent.
All right. Also, moving on, Manders signed linebacker David Miracle Whip Mayo and Jonathan Williams as running back. I think that's just practice squad guys, essentially. And these are guys that are going to push the production level of those positions up a little bit. Vance Joseph beat out Rex Fake Teeth Ryan for the DC job in Denver. So,
Rex Fake Teeth Ryan. Jesus.
you like that?
Looks like a seal with dentures.
Oh my lord. Oh wow.
right,
I know. I
That's,
like
that's
Rex
kind of all I have
Ryan.
for news today. Do you guys have anything else in the rumors side of things?
Holy shit.
You got any rumors?
No.
No. All right. So let's go. Let's
Bubba
go.
Ventrone's
Let's go
gonna
back
be
to your
the
Bubba
NFL.
Ventrone. What were you trying to say about Bubba Ventrone?
That he's one of the top head coaching candidates coming up in the next couple of years. Apparently, he's
Johnny.
around the NFL. He's big news. They really like what he brings to teams. What I think is funny then is that he didn't get an interview with the Colts, who were just now looking to hire a dude.
Speaking of Jalen Ramsey, there was a tweet that just went out saying that the Lions and the Raiders are the top two teams mentioned by @J Fowler ESPN for Ramsey to go.
So the Raiders don't want to pay Derek Carr, but they're going to pay Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, that's
that's the most Raider thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's dumb. I could see him go. The Lions.
The Lions, I understand because they have the money. And
have the
why
money,
not? I
and-
mean, you might
oh,
have just
man.
thrown it
If
at the
you
wall and
take
see if it
Jalen
sticks.
Ramsey as the Raiders, you're drafting Anthony or a quarterback in the
Oh, 100%.
in the top
There's
10.
Yeah.
but still, it don't matter. It's just we haven't built a defense for Derek Carr, but let's build it for the guy we're going to draft. You know,
All right, let's step back. Bubba Ventrone being a possible a head coach candidate. Why do you think this has been, I guess, circling around the NFL inner circles?
That was the first I'd heard of it. I didn't know. I guess when it comes down to that, like, what determines what is a good or good not
leadership.
special teams coach, right?
yeah, but special teams.
So like, because isn't that what Harbaugh was? Who's the special teams guy?
Jim or John?
John for the Ravens.
Okay.
Jim was always an OC. At least
Yeah, but I
that's
mean,
what thought.
special teams, the head coach is a big step. I mean, I don't know. The Browns did.
He's assistant head coach.
What with Kitchens, whatever, quarterback coach, the head coach. So I mean, it's not.
Are you getting hungry? Oh, I was just talking kitchens.
The
Freddie
coach
sucked.
gets
Jesus.
Freddie
hard.
sucked.
You sit there. I'm about to say,
You know what's
yeah,
funny?
I'm
I know
starving.
he sucks.
You know what's funny?
but-
You know what's funny? I love Freddie Kitchens just because it was one of the first guys to come to Cleveland as a head coach with a personality.
Yeah, he actually
Like he
Yeah.
got upset on the sideline, and I
Yeah.
appreciated when your team sucks that you just like, God, you suck.
he's like, hey man, whoop the hell.
This is Kevin Stefanski when he's.
No, he's still looking at the playbook when he's mad.
Yeah, he's just like,
And I agree with most NFL like newscasts
You think he
when
has
it
to,
comes to
like,
the Cleveland Browns.
He used to
like,
practice that in the mirror, like, okay, don't get fucking mad. Oh my god.
no, it's probably. I bet you any money these things are so like cut because the entire time he's like this, he's flexing.
Just like, oh my god.
Just saying. All right. He's probably like, how soon can I fire Joe Woods without being called a racist?
Oh my god. Baker's got one arm. I should have done my job. Fuck.
All right. You know what? So now we're just gonna move into the main meat of the show. We're gonna go over the.
I'll show you my main.
Oh, you know what? Actually, before we go to the main meat, let's go to They Mean Well because we missed that on Wednesday.
Let's show
so let's
John's
jump into
meat.
They Mean Well.
So I do have two because we did miss that one.
Racist.
That's Shaq.
So no, that's the crying Jordan's face.
Oh, that's Daniel Johnson.
And it's on the right side it says it's a Philly thing because this person got the Super Bowl tattoo of Philly before they won.
Everybody gets the tattoos before the team wins. You've seen all the Dallas memes.
Oh no.
So obviously the bottom is Eagles Super Bowl champs, and they had to get another tattoo crying that they actually lost.
You can still own that. You just hope to God that they win before you die.
Yeah.
Well, no, because behind the Eagles logo they have which Super Bowl.
I hate when they do that. They always
And
screw
you're
up,
dumb.
man.
You're stupid, dude. Down
Yeah,
bad.
you know how much
Down
money
bad.
tattoo
That's
shops
funny.
got to make? Like,
Right.
oh,
All right.
like here, 20% off a Super Bowl tattoo. Like that's the best.
Oh, it does have the Arizona logo behind it.
Glenn-
Oh, what an idiot.
It's just the logo. It's the Super Bowl logo itself.
Yeah, but it's got the Arizona skyline in the background.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
That
then the,
makes it even harder to adjust.
Down
and then the
bad.
second one, obviously, as Steven read on, it's QB Jones and the contracted Doom,
Oh man.
and it's above average talent and $45 million a year.
So can I have a curiosity. I have a curious question for you guys. Is there another quarterback you think of that was overpaid
Kyler Murray.
in this? Well, no.
Yeah,
Kyler Murray never made it to the
Murray.
playoffs, right?
Yeah,
He got paid.
Exactly.
I think-
But Daniel Jones at least made it to the playoffs now.
No, Kyler made it to playoffs.
No, he didn't.
I think he did
Yeah.
his rookie year.
I thought
Was
they
that the
did.
year they went 11-0?
Yeah.
And then so
Yeah,
they
yeah.
they lost in the first round.
Where the defense was actually
Okay.
good, and then the next year they had to blow it up because they couldn't pay
Okay,
anybody.
I didn't know that's where they. That's
I mean,
where they
but how
lost in
much
the
do you?
first round.
I mean,
I would say
I don't like
that
Kyler.
there's a lot of other
Everybody
quarterbacks that
knows
pay
this
over
on the
Daniel
All
show.
right, let's jump to the
45.
next. Meanwhile, you said you had two.
Oh,
Yes.
just look at this.
Let him read this so we can
Oh,
get the gist
man.
of this.
Oh, I had the wrong one pulled up for you guys.
Hold on. What is this?
By the way, I love the raccoon one. Is that the video?
Yeah, it is the video.
Oh,
Can we
God.
show the video?
I do not have the video.
Oh, you're killing me, bro. That video is hilarious.
It's just the raccoon coming out. It's been out for a while.
Yeah, but that one's hilarious for those that haven't seen it because
haven't
the
seen it.
raccoon. So the raccoon comes out of the dumpster and there's a wood prop in front of it, and he literally opens the dumpster door.
Yes.
And that's Aaron Rodgers coming out of his car.
Does the raccoon have a mullet as well?
He just stops. Though. He just stops.
So
Stairs.
the left one is if you've watched SpongeBob, KJ might not understand this one.
You've never watched SpongeBob?
I literally watched one. I have a kid.
Okay.
You old fuck.
She's not even one.
Yeah.
She's not even 6.
But SpongeBob is
JC's
adult
colors.
humor in funny kid cartoon form.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
if
they
anyone's ever watched it, it's about the villain giving Patrick back his wallet, and underneath the
That's a good
top
laugh.
underneath the top left is
good.
this was your bet on yourself season. Yup. And you finished with average numbers plus another season-ending injury. Yup. So one might say you lost the bet and won't be demanding insane money. Makes sense to me. 250 million and 180 guaranteed. Then my mom says I'm worth it more than that. And that's
That's
obviously
gotta be Lamar. That's got to be Lamar.
well, the title of it says Lamar versus
because
Baltimore.
it says my mom says I'm worth more than that. Right there.
Isn't his mom his agent?
No, he doesn't have an agent.
Yeah. No, his
No,
mom is
yeah.
his mom is his acting agent.
I think he has an all-female like agent staff or something.
Yeah, just let him lead. Let him
Makes
lead.
sense to me.
That's all right, buddy. You'll be an idiot.
You know who also
my
has
God,
an
either way.
all-female staff?
Isn't
No.
it
Deshaun
LeBron?
Watson.
Oh. Ha!
I don't even know what to say to that. 'Cause that's some
Smart
funny,
man.
That is funny. That is funny. All right.
I bet they all signed NDAs.
Jesus. Not enough.
They're taking payments
You
already.
think they have to have
The
specific
NDAs,
certificates?
those are NFL NDAs. They're not even Texan NDAs. They're NFL NDAs.
They're very
They're
broad.
given to each team.
Like, listen, yeah, you can work on my body as long as you sign this paper, and then we can continue the conversation.
And I can bring my own towel.
and I can
And I can bring my own
I have
towel.
a very
just that
special
it's a
towel.
washcloth.
All right. Let's move on to the meat and potatoes of the day.
It's
All right.
It's a 2x2 washcloth.
It covers it.
It covers the head.
But we're going to move into offensive tackle rankings today, and this is going to be a fun one today just because I know the two guys that are on my left have literally – how many hours of film have you guys
I've spent
About 6 hours of film. It's not offensive.
way more than that for me.
All right. I am more analytical.
Thanks for
So-
throwing me under
Really,
the bus.
6 hours?
You are more anal.
I thought you, man, no, I did at least probably 12
2
to
games.
16 hours.
2 games each.
Yeah, I watched
Good and bad.
I
I
watched
put up the one I liked more.
too much of film on the. I don't want to say too much. I hope you guys don't think I'm halfway for my takes because
No.
I don't give a shit. Because they're my takes.
Quarterbacks, I do a lot more film.
You know
on.
what?
You
I
have to.
Yeah, well, yeah. We said this before. Every single company that does these has different rankings for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
like-
but
so like
they're similar.
PFF.
But they're similar
Sometimes,
a lot of the time.
like Draft Network has, like certain guys going in 3rd, 4th rounds, and then like NFL Draft Buzz has this dude like
Second.
undrafted or
Yeah. or
Yeah,
up
I mean,
high.
yeah, or like PFF has these dudes, has Bryce Young as the one.
Yeah, there's a guy like on the line as left tackle, or I should say tackle. Sorry, that's going to be drafted in my opinion, and NFL Draft Buzz has him undrafted.
Exactly.
So I mean, I like looking at some of these guys that
it all
aren't.
depends on what you see, how you evaluate this guy, and then you go from there.
Yeah, because a lot of people can look at these stars and be like, oh, yeah, and then watch film like this, what I like, this, what I like. And you can be right, but I like looking at some of these guys that people don't know much about. And you
Yeah,
can
you
just,
found that. I have not.
yeah, and you can watch some film or highlights even. The guy, I couldn't even find, like, super updated film on the one guy. And I watched from the last couple of years. I spent an hour just looking at this dude because I like him a lot. Like, everybody that I've seen have him undrafted.
Tackle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's talk. Oh, it's okay. Okay.
All right, so
I'm excited to hear.
that being said, what we're gonna jump in. We all probably have a different guy in our number one.
Yeah.
But we're probably similar
Yeah, except
in our top three.
I think my guy's the only guy that's a right tackle.
We're probably similar in our top three. So what we're going to do is jump onto the board right off the bat. The NFL and probably most people have Skoronski as their one. So let's talk about Peter Skoronski.
How can you be a one and then also not play tackle in the NFL?
Let's talk about Peter Skoronski, okay? 6'4", 315 pounds. He ran a 5'1", 40 at his, like, the college workouts that they do. 9 7/8 arm or hand size, which it's kind of small for a lineman. Also,
Small hands,
arm length,
short
arms. Span.
short arm span.
He's a guard.
He's a guard, guys.
I mean,
So-
That's why I can't have him as
But,
one.
He's
but
got
keep in mind, right? 4-star recruit coming out of high school,
Mm.
going to college, and he's not known essentially for his physical stature. He's known for his athleticism and his football IQ. That's what he's known for, and his hand work, his techniques underneath the pads.
I mean, he plays through the whistle. He's got
That's-
good feet. He doesn't stop moving them.
Right.
But his size, his arm span's the issue because
But
I want a guy with a wide.
So maybe at a left tackle it's an issue, but is that an issue at a right tackle?
well, that's what you're gonna. I mean, I
I
have
know
him
you
going.
guys constantly say guard, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
have
guys-
him
He's
mid-
not going to play tackle.
I have him mid first.
The problem is, okay, so
Early second. He's an early second.
the guy is a first round to.
Late.
If I
He's
had
early
to put a pick, right, I'd say 25 to 35. So early second, late first, right? Like so that's my 10 pick.
I have
window
so
that
much
I have him.
issue with ADP, so that's just.
That's
I'm
my
bad-
10, but
I'm
that's my
bad at
10 pick
ADP.
window that I have him. Now before I'll let you guys take your take on this, but before you say something about like the size of him,
I'm sorry.
is the speed of his feet make up for his ability, his physical stature, because he's very quick with his footwork.
No, because
Not in the NFL.
No.
Because that
So
next
you're
level.
saying everybody's faster. So he's probably not going to be
Yeah,
good against
because
speed rush, more of a bull rush.
He
kinda
got
guy.
beat a lot. He gets beat inside because he steps too wide.
see, now,
but
you
that's
know
where
what's
I
funny is
think
I-
he fits better at guard
All right,
because
so why don't
what I
Wheels
watched,
give your give
yeah,
your
yeah.
take, and then go ahead, Steve, go after. So what do you got, Wheels? And
So, I mean-
do me a favor when you talk about him. Let me know your ranking on our ranking system, which we said you have dud, project, starter.
So I think he's a
dud, project, backup, starter, elite.
Yes.
he's a starter. I think he's a starter as a guard, but I don't see him as an anchor at a tackle because you want that guy that can he can eat a block and he's not going to get beat inside and turn into a turnstile. I mean, he's got great hands, good football IQ. He's good on the double team, but he oversteps against a bull rush, I guess I should say, and he gets too wide, and they beat him inside. My biggest thing is just his placement, because with Northwestern, you might be good at tackle, but NFL, that's the next level. You got a lot more speed, you got a lot more weight coming against you. So I mean, my biggest thing with him is I just don't like his size for a tackle, and he's third on my list.
All right.
And I mean,
That's why I said top three is probably
he's
going
a
to be
starter.
our top three are probably going to be similar.
Yeah.
They just might be in different positions, and it might also be based on team needs too, right? In the draft.
Yeah,
So
I mean-
like a team might not need a tackle over a guard, or they might need a left tackle over a right tackle. Like it all depends. 'Cause
or
some guys,
depth.
right? So it all depends on where these guys might go.
I can see the Titans taking maybe trading back into the first or trading back up into the second to get him with losing Taylor Lewan.
And-
you might be able to trust him at a right tackle. Be like, all right, let's see if it works because
We'll see.
I mean you
We'll
can
see
see
with
if it
that,
sticks.
because
I'm
I
just
don't-
trying to give a team for example of who
Right.
could possibly take. him.
So go ahead, Steve. What's your take on Peter?
So I don't, by all means, like we don't necessarily hate these people, right?
I don't know him.
No, I don't have any ill will against any of these
Yeah,
guys.
like when we're critical of them, it's of their game and what we've seen. So let's just, because I mean, obviously, I use very harsh words when it comes to things because that's what you do as a man. I like Peter, right? I have him as 5th in my tackle rankings, and I do that because, in my opinion, it's hard to put somebody as the best tackle when they do not fit a tackle build at the next level. And with the teams he's played against, I watched games against Nebraska and Maryland. All right. So my issue is he gives up a lot of ground in pass pro. He gives up a lot of ground. He gets pushed back a lot. Now, granted, he doesn't give up sacks, but he definitely allows the QB to feel pressure.
Yeah, but he's a much better run blocker.
I agree. I think he holds when he gets beat, just like most dudes do.
That's you're gonna
probably
teach
the most
out.
common thing that I've seen.
That's most guys.
He holds when beat.
Yeah.
Now I saw he was vulnerable going outside. I watched him get beat with a speed rush and a swim outside. I watched him get beat with a speed rush and a spin outside. I see what's funny is you said he doesn't get beat inside, or he gets beat inside. Yeah. I didn't think he got beat inside with what I saw.
I think.
That's why I think him at guard makes sense. He's not getting beat inside.
I guess I shouldn't say gets beat. He oversteps. I feel like.
And so they.
That's what I should say. He oversteps because he gets too wide.
Okay. Well,
like he's trying to make himself bigger. I guess.
Now, can you? Is it early in the set?
Yes.
Or is
so it's before.
Okay. So his initial.
It's on initial contact.
His initial kick is wide.
It's on initial contact. He steps wide, and that's where he gets pushed off. And I guess it wouldn't be more so getting beat inside. He just gets beat.
Now, with that being said, right, I have a lot of pros for him. A lot of pros. His feet are always moving. He picks up stunts really well. He keeps his hands inside. They're strong. I remember, like, if my actual note, if he gets his hands inside of you, your play's over. What do you like?
No,
your play's over. He is very good when he gets.
Yeah, he definitely has strong hands. He has good placement on initial contact.
Yeah, when he can engage head on, his hand placement is amazing. I just don't think he's gonna have the range or the speed in the NFL.
Yeah. So where do you have him ranked? Like I know you said
in your top, right?
So
he's 5th for me.
So is he starter, dud, backup?
He's a starter.
Okay.
I see. You know what's funny is because of his skill set, somebody probably is going to try him at right tackle, and he might do well.
And it also depends on where you're going.
I don't think he's going to be a left tackle.
If you're going to a place like
John, can you bring up Peter again real quick? Oh, sorry.
I was going to ask for the draft though. Order.
See, okay, so I only asked for that because the arm length. He's at 3%.
Yeah, he's
tackles.
a 3 percentile.
That's small, dude.
Yeah.
That's.
But you know what? But we're talking an inch. We're talking an inch.
That's what she said.
So, so in my opinion, then, right? If it's not a big issue, if an inch is it's semantics, why do they have analytics on it?
Well, here's the thing. So like, it's not about so much the inch; it's about what you can do with the inch.
Again, that's what she said.
That's what my wife tells me, and she cries every time.
So when you got a guy there are guys that play bigger or longer than they are.
True.
So like he's one of those guys that because of the athleticism that it kind of overshadows his inability with stature.
So there's another guy we're going to talk about. When I say attack at range, that means he's extended and he's in your shit before you have a chance to make him.
Right. He's good at he's good off the break.
And I don't have that note for Peter, so I would have to rewatch.
Can you
He's a starter for me.
Can you show me that draft order really quick? So like, just out of curiosity,
where do you think he would go here?
So I said anywhere between 25 and 35. Now that's the position. That doesn't mean the team.
I agree.
But what I'm saying is that if you have a team that's needy at offensive line, and like the Lions at 18 do need offensive line, and they got 2 picks in the draft.
Bengals.
So like
Bengals, Steelers, Lions,
Buccaneers.
Correct.
Yeah, Bucks are about to lose the whole team.
I see a tackle going is like the Detroit Lions.
Do you think the Bucks might trade off Wirfs for like capital?
I would.
I would too.
No.
So the position you're in now.
I say that
because
they
Kyle
got
Trask
so much
has only
money.
been there for 2 years.
Kyle Trask is not.
Yeah,
gonna
but
start
so
for that
you're going to lose Mike Evans
they've
or
already come out and
Godwin
said
within the next year or two.
They drafted. What did they draft Kyle Trask in the 2nd round?
No, is it really? I thought he was a late round pick, honestly.
No, they drafted him in the 2nd or 3rd round.
Oh Jesus!
So like, if you draft a guy that high,
Damn.
Why
yeah,
would you
that's
move
fair.
on from him?
I didn't know it was that high. If it was that high, then yeah, he's gonna get a shot.
I've talked to Ryan about Kyle Trask multiple times, and they're excited about Kyle Trask.
I like him.
So, and
Man,
you
I
played
like
behind
him a lot.
Tom Brady for 2 years.
I mean,
You got to learn something.
that's not true.
Every quarterback that's played behind Tom Brady has come out and been a very good game
He
manager.
was the
Hoyer?
last pick in the second round.
Actually,
manager.
Hoyer was a good game manager. All right.
See, last pick in the second round.
Yeah.
So they wasted a second round pick on the guy. They're not just going to toss him to the
No,
wind.
I'm not saying that, but
No, he said he's not going to start.
I didn't.
I think he's going to start. But I mean,
But
Tristan Wirfs
Tristan held up on it.
has a lot of value. Do you trade him now, or do you wait to see how Kyle Trask does halfway through the
well, I'm
season?
not going to get rid of the dude's offensive line and then go, good luck.
Well, you can accrue
No.
picks, obviously.
You can do that. Is
No.
pretty much what
Essentially,
can
they're
accrue
rebuilding.
picks.
If you do that, you're rebuilding and you're saying Wirfs isn't the guy.
I mean, they're kind of going to be in a rebuild
see-
within the next year or two because they're
They
going to, like
are.
I said, they're
How do you
losing.
know that?
They're
Because
going to
their
lose
defense is
Yeah,
gone. They're all
and they're
old, and
losing
they're
Mike
paying them
Evans
too
or
much.
Godwin next year.
Guys, the
They're not
coach-
going to be able to pay
They're
both.
probably going to lose Evans this year as a cap casualty.
The coach even came out and stated that you don't rebuild, you retool and you
You can rename it anything you want.
No. That's incorrect because there are teams that don't have to eliminate everybody and can turn over. Look at the Eagles. 6 years ago, won a Super Bowl. Within 6 years, their team wasn't substantially worse, but they did lose pieces, and boom, right back at
Yeah,
the
as
Super
long
Bowl.
as you can hit it on the draft, obviously, but a lot of these teams can't.
Tampa Bay's hit on the draft. Defensively,
Well, yeah,
offensively,
defensively,
the
I mean,
the only thing
you've
they
hit with-
technically need is a
Yeah,
quarterback.
you've hit with Tristan Wirfs. You've hit with a safety. I
You
can't remember
have
his name.
running backs. You have wide receivers. You have defensive ends.
Lenny's
You've
old.
got linebackers.
Lenny's not old.
Lenny's old.
Lenny is old.
He's 26.
He's 28. But
28.
but here's the thing: you got Rashad White played very well when
Yes, he
Leonard
did.
was
Oh,
out.
that's
And
what I
he
was gonna
did
say.
say
And
at
then
the
you're gonna get-
beginning
and
of the
then-
year that he's going to pass the torch to Rashad White.
Yeah, like he's
I mean, you
teaching
still got-
Rashad. So
Because he knows he's
Would
going
so
down.
let me ask you this: would you trade Mike Evans?
Yeah, you have to move cap.
Mike Evans is the guy I would trade, and that's just because of his age.
Yeah.
They're over like 55
But the only
million.
And
way
he's
I'm
been
trading-
consistently good. So I mean, you
The
could
only
probably
way I'm
get something
trading
for
Mike
him.
Evans is if I can get a high 2
or a piece
or a
in the
late
linebacker.
first
I want
or
to.
another wide receiver.
Yeah.
Younger.
I need something. I need another wide receiver. I can't get rid of Mike Evans.
So, just real quick, what fitment do you have for Skoronski? Would he fit with the Buccaneers? Do you think they take him?
No, I don't think the Bucs are going to take an offensive lineman. I think if the Bucs do anything, it's a defensive
Defense,
secondary piece or an outside guy.
So,
or they're
I mean-
going to sit there in a situation to where
Peter
Can you bring the draft up again? real
Peter
quick?
could easily drop out of the first. I mean, everybody was hyping him up weeks ago, but
could.
I'm not saying I don't see it, but I don't see him being the number one tackle.
I don't see
I don't- there's no way.
now. Maybe I'm wrong, right? But I don't see a left tackle in this draft that is a day one must-have guy.
I don't. Unless a team really wants one and says we need to go get our guy, and they put all the eggs in that basket, and they're like, all right, he's our guy for the future.
All right, thanks, John.
That's-
so by day one, like must-have guy, you mean like dude you're willing to trade up for?
Yeah, like how many left tackles are like Jedrick Wills? And I know your feelings on Jedrick Wills, but Jedrick Wills was drafted top 10.
He was
Yes.
drafted 10. You want to hear my feelings?
I know your feelings. Shut up.
He's a
but that's not
25.
my point though. So Jedrick Wills was
What are you-
one of
what are
those
you, my
guys
therapist?
that everybody was like, this could be a guy. Right?
Yes,
Coming out of the draft.
I know.
So like and mind you, he's a solid guy. He doesn't move well. He's not really good against the speed rush.
If I'm the Browns, I put him at right tackle this year.
I do too.
But you have to draft a left tackle.
No,
or you
you
have
have
to
to
have a
Conklin.
guy.
You can put Conklin. I'd rather have Conklin at left tackle.
Why
He's
not
played
change
left
it?
But, anyway,
tackle
but
in
that's
Tennessee.
not my point, though. That's not my point. Jedrick Wills was a guy that, but Jedrick Wills was a guy that like many teams were looking at as a left tackle, and they're like, this guy is a day one starter.
And do you think the Browns' arms were twisted because of the Joe Thomas retirement? Do you like,
No.
we got to get a guy?
Yeah, you had to get a guy
Oh,
at
well,
least
yeah,
a
you had
year
to draft
before
a
Joe
dude.
Yeah.
Thomas was out,
So,
so
I
you
mean-
had to get him
Man,
play
I
for a little bit.
wanted Andrew Thomas that year. He went
so
to
did
the
I.
Giants.
I would have taken an injured Joe Thomas. I'll take
No, no.
Joe Thomas now.
No, Andrew
no,
Thomas.
Andrew Thomas, the kid coming out of
got
Georgia that year.
or Tristan Wirfs.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
take.
Or Tristan
I would
Wirfs.
take Joe Thomas now as a linebacker.
But how about? But that's the other thing, right? Tristan
He's
Wirfs
big,
in
I
that
know.
draft was ranked by many as the number one tackle coming out.
Him, Becton.
Yeah,
that was-
Mekhi Becton.
Mekhi
Yep.
Becton. That was a big tackle.
But
draft.
okay, but do you see the difference, right? That draft was like these guys are top three. That was three. I think there was 4 tackles in that draft. But like, boom, those guys you had to go get in the first round, right? So I just throwing that out there. But let's move forward off Skoronski.
Got the receipts.
We're gonna go to the number 2 in what most people have mocked up as their number 2 guy as a tackle is Paris Johnson Jr.
Yes.
Paris Johnson Jr. is a big prospect. He's 6'6", 310 pounds. He's quick, 5.05 at the 40. Long, really long, 35 3/4 inch.
How long is he?
Is length, and arm span is 85 5/8. Big hands, 11 inches. This guy's just, he's a freak. He's a huge specimen.
And the Buckeyes guards were not good this year.
And 5-star recruit. Now, the positives of him, right, is leader on the field. He's quick off the step, strong base, and very agile. So, like, this is a guy that I think is probably your best left tackle in the draft.
So you have him as the anchor.
Yes. I think you can take him. Oh, that's not my zipper. I was messing with the microphone. I think you can take him high, and even if you don't get him at a left tackle, he's a stud at right tackle.
So this, I don't know if you guys saw this. He's only played 1 season at tackle for Ohio State.
Correct. Yeah, he started as a guard.
Yeah. So I mean, but you like a guy with movability. So I mean, hey, he might not stick at tackle, but you can put him as a guard.
Now, I don't know if you can take a guy from the left to the right side of the line, because that's one of the biggest critiques.
Yeah, because
they're not used to moving that way.
Yeah, because usually you have a strong side and a weak side. That's why you're left or right.
You can coach that. You can coach that.
No, you can't.
You can coach footwork.
It's not about footwork.
But
it's about
hardwire. It's hardwire.
Instincts.
Yeah, it's hardwired from the day you start at tackle.
Ask Joe Thomas if he would ever be able to do right tackle. I guarantee Joe Thomas goes, I'm capable of doing it,
but I'm not going to do it as well.
But I'm not going to be as good.
I mean, that's expected.
But I mean, he's
we're talking
left heavy.
a Hall of Famer, a first-round ballot Hall of Famer, right? And
he
he would still say he would struggle.
Pretty much.
Okay, it's just what it is.
So what are your pros on him? What do you like about him?
Well, look who he played against, right? That's a big factor.
Yeah, so
you're playing in the Big Ten. You play against a lot of good DNs.
Elite defenses. I mean, I watched him against Georgia in the champion or in the play, or I guess
and
not champion.
Georgia has a good D tackles coming out of that side.
That's the reason I did that. I did that game and the Notre Dame game, and he looked, because in that Notre Dame game, our offensive line was getting beat early. In the second half, he stepped up. He stepped up on that offensive line, and I think he's part of the reason, honestly, we won, is because we were able to solidify it halfway through the game. He's got a high football IQ. He doesn't stop moving. I mean, he plays to the whistle. He gets the second level quick. Yeah, but honestly, my only
you got him. I'm assuming you have him as a starter.
Oh, I have him like franchise.
Okay, so elite, right?
He's elite for me.
He's elite for you.
Yes, he's elite. Because
so
I mean,
he's
even
the
with
guy in this draft that you're like, gotta go get him.
Yeah,
if I need a guy to put on my line, it's going to be an anchor, like you said. Gotta go get Paris Johnson.
Obviously we're probably all Ohio State fans here, but it's not even that. It's just from the film I've watched, I've spent a good chunk of time, because a lot of these guys, some of these Ohio State guys, I didn't watch a whole lot because I watched every game this year. But I watched, like I said, the Georgia and the Notre Dame game, and he stepped up in the Notre Dame game, and then he was just a monster in that Georgia game. He was eating double teams. I mean, he wasn't getting beat. He stood his ground. He didn't get a lot of holding calls. I mean, even throughout his career at this year at tackle. But I mean, he's my anchor. I mean, it's 1A, 1B for him.
I like that. Steve, what's your take on him?
He's my number 1 left tackle. He's my number 2 tackle. He picks up stunts well. What are you laughing at?
I'm from over here burping. I couldn't hold it back.
That's you burping? Oh, jeez.
But go ahead. Continue.
He keeps his guy in front of him. All right, he's got good footwork. He doesn't quit. He's aggressive, but he can be too aggressive. At times he'll lower his head and he'll lunge. I mean, you know what I mean.
That's one of my cons. We were talking about that a couple weeks ago.
I watched him get beat bad. I mean, real bad with the 2-handed swim. He literally he lunged, and the dude just went bloop. And that was bad. I was like,
but it
was a one-off because I didn't see it again. I didn't see anything close to that.
It seems like he builds off. He's like, all right, that's my one beat. Let's get back on it.
He can lose to a speed rush. He's fast, but he's not super fast, which is whatever for 310 pounds, 6'6", dude.
He's a big boy.
He's big. He's biggin', and he's long. He's got that reach. 35 3/4 arm length. That's biggin'.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the wingspan.
What percentage is that? 95%.
95. I mean, you're biggin'. I like the doesn't quit. You know, the footwork's gonna be good.
So with that putting his head down, do you think that's a tell like, oh boy, this isn't going well, or do you think it's just confidence?
That's
Going into the initial contact.
I think it is. He's scared he lost
Already,
He's like,
he's like, all right. So that's a tell that like,
Yeah.
all right. But like you said, you didn't see it again,
no.
which is also telling because then he's confident. All right, that's not going to happen again. We're going to play this and we're just going to finish.
A couple. I mean, he's not going to lose to a power rush.
No,
He's not going to get beat.
Speed rush.
Yes.
That's one of the things I said. He gets
rush,
beat inside on
yeah.
speed rush often, but he can hold his ground.
But if he gets beat inside, that's not so much of a stress if you have a solid guard.
It's
That's what I was gonna go back on.
And
The
with his
guards for
length,
Ohio State
so-
weren't the greatest.
No,
this
they were
year.
not. They were not.
So I mean, like I said, he was an anchor for that team. Which is why
Yeah.
I have him being an anchor in the NFL. And I know that's a high ask in the NFL going from college to NFL, but he has the ability. He has all the. I think he has the confidence. And he has the measurables for sure. I mean, we see that.
He uses his size and his length though too much at times. His hand placement. His hand placement is not always where it needs to be. Like when it comes, if we're gonna compare him to like Skoronski's hand placement, in my opinion, Johnson's lacking.
Yeah, but you can work on hand placement,
Well, you
just like
need to,
footwork.
I think that's coachable.
Yeah.
That should be coachable.
But I mean, he doesn't. There's a lot of these tackles that I've watched that they hold when they get beat. Like they know they're getting, so they hold. I didn't see that much with him.
Guys. So I could be wrong on this. When you go to the NFL, I was watching a lot of these guys. When you knock a guy down and you lay on him, is that not considered a hold?
No.
I mean, technically, it should be considered a hold.
It should be because you're
preventing him from moving.
They teach that at a young age though. If you get your dude in the ground, you're allowed to jump on him.
Well, so
you're essentially- 'cause you're
Paris
taking him out.
Johnson has the ability to constantly do that to a guy. He gets him. He beats him right off the line, and most of those guys flop out. And I don't know if he's just playing bad guys. I mean, I kind of do. Most of them were not good.
I mean, Georgia, he went against what was it? Jalen Carter. No,
He didn't know Whippler went against Carter.
Whippler went against
and that's
Carter.
why
That's what it was, yeah.
Big fan of Whippler. Big fan.
But I mean, and it's not like the. I mean, well, we played Iowa this year. He won again.
Van Ness.
I should have watched that film.
I didn't watch that one either. Oh man, I watched Maryland and Michigan, and I watched Michigan because I wanted to see what was happening in that game because I got smoked on, and I was like, all right, how do you react?
That was bad offensive coaching in Michigan.
Well,
I'm not even gonna go there.
They got so Draft Network has him actually compared to Charles Cross, and I was huge on Charles Cross
Really?
coming out of the draft last year.
He's Oklahoma or
I don't
Ole
know.
Miss.
He
Charles
went
Cross
to
was Ole
Seattle,
Miss, I thought.
but he
Ole
went to
Miss, yeah.
Seattle.
Okay.
So
I thought he was.
so.
Ole
What
Miss.
do you have him on? Like what are your?
He's my start. I have him as a starter in rankings.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
have.
so hard for me to take a guy and call him elite coming out of college.
And I have yet to do that in any of the talk we've done. So I mean, it's hard to come out and put
but
my neck out there for the guy.
I think he's a starter. I think he's a starter. I don't think he's a backup. I think he's a starter. For
I think
sure.
he'll be a day one starter somewhere.
Yeah, this is a guy, and that's why I think
He's a top 10 pick for me. I think he's going to be the first tackle taken.
Early mid first.
Yes, I think he'll be the first tackle taken off the board. I don't know if he'll be a top 10 just because of the needs at 10. I think he's probably going to get drafted somewhere around top 15.
I have him going to the Titans in about every mock.
He could go to the Raiders for all I care.
At 7? I mean, he could, but
And the Titans could trade down.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
cure some picks to still get him because if you look between 11,
he could go to Philly at 10.
11 to
he could go to Philly.
11 to 15. None of those teams really need offensive line.
No.
It's when you get into Washington, they need a little bit of help.
Well, Green
Steelers
Bay might need offensive line.
Yeah, they're not going to take a wide receiver. Sorry, Johnny.
They're not. You know what?
They're
It's funny.
known to not doing it.
We'll get into that later. And my Dalton Kincaid pick, I take back.
he's
think,
not going to Green Bay anymore?
No, I take that back.
You know
Just
what's
because
funny?
I was
saw
looking at
another mock,
second round draft picks.
and it had him going.
Because he's a wide receiver, right?
Yeah, so he played. So we'll talk about him.
We'll talk about
him.
Let's jump off of Paris Johnson because I think all of
Roderick.
us are fans of Paris Johnson. Now, this might be where I think we all kind of differ a little bit. Me and you have Broderick Jones wheels, right?
Yeah, Broderick. I think it's Broderick Jones.
Is it Bro Derek?
Oh my God! If it's Bro Derek, I quit.
I've been.
Look at the
been saying
spelling. It looks like
Broderick.
Broderick.
Well, yeah,
Broderick.
but there's no apostrophe for that pause.
I gotta be
think
honest.
it's Broderick Jones, though. So this guy's 6'4",
I could see
310.
it. I don't know.
4.8 seconds, really quick. I don't have any of his arm length span or anything.
No, I couldn't find any.
I don't think he has any measurements yet.
No.
That will be something to look at the combine. Five-star prospect coming out of high school. My pros for him: very agile, quick to react. 0 sacks allowed in 2022 as a left tackle, high IQ, and crazy grip strength.
So I'm going to go in real quick and do my cons for him. He lunges a lot, and he bends at the waist. He bends at the waist.
And he dips his head, dude.
Yeah, just like Paris, which, I mean, and he only
but that's coachable.
He's worse.
Yeah, that's
he's
what I'm saying.
Way
So
worse than Paris.
So this is where I have rankings. Obviously,
Because it sounds like he's trying to beat the attack.
Yeah, and he gets too early. He's trying to.
too
He
early.
overplays his hand.
Right, so it's almost like Trayvon Diggs as a corner.
He's anticipating.
Horrible on the double
Yes,
move.
Exactly, John. He anticipates the contact, and he shows it too early.
So if someone goes to break out and he pushes,
jumps.
and then boom, they're in. So a guy like Myles Garrett, who's great on
So
stunts.
you think
Now,
he's
gonna
boomer
destroy
bust
him.
play on play?
So correct me if I'm wrong. When you watch tape on this guy, when he dips his head, he was still moving his feet.
Yeah.
So it's the goofiest shit I've ever seen.
That's the thing, so-
from a high end tackle,
Yeah, and he
is
gets-
you're like your head down, like moving your feet like a goof. It is.
Is he
it's-
afraid to get hit in the face, you think?
I don't think it's.
I think so because I have one. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
you're good.
He doesn't attack at range.
Anyone
he waits
have-
for guys to come into him, and I think that's why he dips his head.
Anyone have his stats on his arm length?
No.
So
we
he
couldn't
only
find
has
it.
22 starts in
yeah,
college.
there's nothing out there.
okay.
He only has 22 starts.
But yeah, it's
There's
just
not many.
Go ahead,
That's
Steve.
two
But if-
seasons.
But at
Steve,
left tackle
give
in
your
the
full
SEC,
take on him. Give your full take on
At
him.
left tackle in the SEC, that is still big, because you're at a big time school, and in the last 2 years, George has been with the top 3.
Yeah.
So you're playing big dudes, you're in big games, so that it's not.
I mean, look at the talent that they have on the offensive line come out with in the recent years. We were talking to Andrew Thomas.
I mean, yeah, I liked Andrew Thomas big.
And a lot of people had him low. They didn't like Andrew Thomas,
See,
and I didn't understand why.
I
I mean, I'm
I
kind
get
of
it.
there with
It's-
him.
That's where I'm.
I'm
with
not
him.
comparing him to Andrew Thomas because
Like,
I think
so-
Andrew Thomas is much more polished.
I think so, too.
I thought he was a lot more polished.
This
coming
guy,
out.
I give him a second round grading. He's number 7 for me in my tackles. He's good in space. I watched him pull from left tackle to right tackle side, and it was easy.
Now,
it was smooth like butter.
I
He
will-
looked good.
I like movability on the line.
I'll tell you right now, every person in this draft is good in the run game. In my
Yeah, the passing game is where it's tough.
Yes.
I found a couple tackles I did not like.
He's 1A, 1B. So I mean, there's a sliver of a difference between
So
him
you
and
guys,
Johnson.
kind of have.
See, I don't like him near as much
which
as I
I
like
get.
Paris.
I
you
mean,
kind of have both
but
of you
it's-
guys have Skoronski below him.
Yes.
No,
Well,
no, he
no,
doesn't.
I
He has
have Skronsky at
Skronsky 5, yeah.
But below Broderick. You have him below Broderick.
I do.
You're saying he's
He
lower
doesn't.
than Broderick.
He
I'm not
doesn't.
saying he's 4. He's lower than Broderick.
No, Broderick's at 7 for me. I have Skronsky above Broderick.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I
Oh,
do.
you have Broderick that far down?
Yeah, I didn't care for him.
All right. I mean,
But it's
not gonna-
stuff like that.
yeah.
You know, if you lower your head, you can't do that in the pros. You're gonna get
Yeah,
you're
but
gonna
this
get
is
hurt.
this is what this is all
Yeah,
about.
or
We're
you're
all-
gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
And he doesn't attack at range.
But this is the reason we have this, is so we can all get different opinions, and the viewers obviously can see it. I mean,
agree.
we all. So each of us we're
the
gonna.
Draft Network actually has Broderick above Peter Skoronski and Peter Skoronski at 3.
I know.
We all have different takes that we're gonna kind of just look at, and you more look at his
Fucking
cons.
cat, dude. Teriyaki's getting it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. So I still
like
think
that,
he
though.
can start. I just think he needs time.
So I like that.
So you
Steve.
have
So
him being a developmental piece for it.
100%. I think this is a guy. So I think
is that a backup?
I think
Grady?
it's a back grade. That's what I said.
Damn.
I think his physical stature puts him as a franchise guy eventually. So like starter
So yeah.
eventually. But I think he's got to go to a place where he can develop a little bit. So maybe
I
not
agree.
as a left tackle. Maybe you start him as a guard and
Yeah.
you slowly move him out.
to where he gets more comfortable and see how his coaching
Tennessee's
does.
a good place for Broderick.
Yeah, but I'm not taking him at 11. I don't know.
No.
Not many of these guys are top 10 for me.
No, I think
I have
I
two
think,
guys top 10.
Yeah, I think I have Broderick.
And they're both
second.
Ohio State
I think I
guys.
have Broderick second round top 10 pick.
Whippler and Paris.
So
No.
for me,
Or the center.
Broderick is 32 to 42.
No,
That's
the,
where I have
the right
him going.
tackle.
Oh, the right tackle.
tackle's my
Oh,
one.
Broderick is 32 to 42. That's where I have him going.
Yeah.
Juwan Jones.
He's
Top of the
he
second
is
round.
still talented. He still played highly talented guys, and he played well. But he still is lacking in spots. And I think maybe it's the Missouri. I watched Missouri and Auburn both in 2022. I think what it was is he was afraid he was going to get beat. He afraid he was too slow, and that's why he leaned. He tried to get maximum length.
I watched the
Maybe,
LSU and
but
the,
he still
and
looked
the,
goofy. Georgia
Tennessee game.
Oh, Tennessee. Ooh, see, Tennessee was a good game to watch.
That's what I'm saying. So I try to take. I try to take a game where they did. It seems like they did really well, and they kind of got beat.
Okay.
And it's hard to do that with Georgia because they played so well this year.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much of that. But early in the Tennessee,
Stetson Bennett's a
yeah,
stud.
All right, let's
he's only 45.
I like Broderick Jones, right? Like to me, like these three guys, if you take any of these three guys, I don't think they're a miss. I don't know now if you take them in a different spot, there might be a different grade because that's probably a reach, or you might actually win on that depending on where if you get a guy in the third round that's one of these guys, win all day.
Yeah, I agree.
Win all day.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Who's your number one?
Out of these three guys, Paris Johnson, hands down.
Okay.
I think
Out of
Paris
these three, it's
Johnson.
Paris, yeah.
I think,
Like I said, it's a sliver of a difference.
here's it's not a sliver of difference for me. And
don't
the
think
reason
so
why
either.
it's not
For
a
me-
sliver, the reason why it's not a sliver of a difference is I think you have to understand the school you're coming from too. If you're this good at Ohio State and I think he's what, a sophomore or a junior?
Paris Johnson is
a junior.
Shit, how do I not have?
I think he's a junior.
He's 20. I know he's 21 right
And
now.
I'm not talking his last name. I'm talking he actually is a junior.
Yeah, he's a junior.
He's young coming out. And which means give him another year in the NFL with a good offensive line coach.
Teriyaki.
It's going to be a stud.
Yeah.
It's going to be a stud. So
I got that on Friday, by the way, too.
Teriyaki.
Uh-huh.
Did you really? That's funny.
So I just think that's why. And then Ohio State has a very good history of offensive linemen coming out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
take
Big-
the
Big
guy
Ten
out of
in general.
Ohio State all day.
Yeah, I mean, Big Ten and like he said, Big Ten in general. Iowa's known for like centers, and I mean, look at the guy
I
last
think
year.
Penn
He
State
was
also. Like there's some big offensive linemen that come out of these teams
So you were making a point about you're going to take a guy from Ohio State
over Georgia.
so
Yeah.
it
Really?
yeah, it
Yeah.
seems like funny
based on
enough.
school.
Yes.
Yeah, funny enough, it
it's-
seems like-
coaching has a lot to do with it, right? Because he's got a good foundation
Yeah.
coming from Ohio State. You can build on that. It's not always the fact that you don't play better guys. Sometimes the foundation of your coaching.
Is how you play on the coaching.
Why do high schools constantly have players come out and go to certain
Yeah, it's got to be.
colleges? It's a
gotta
lot of it
It's
has to do with
fitment.
the farming system.
I mean, well, it's got to be
If
right.
you don't have a good Pee Wee league, you don't have a good middle school league. If you don't have a good middle school league, you don't have a good high school league. It's
You're
the
not gonna get
farming
noticed.
system. That's why quarterbacks are always go to certain schools.
Yeah, they travel the country.
Texas.
So it's a shock when you see a guy like Mitch come out of Mentor and then he fails in the NFL, and you're like, well, he didn't have a good farming
I
system.
was like, well, Hunt
Took
coming
the
out of
Bears.
Willoughby.
He
I mean,
took the Bears
and
to
Mentor
the
has a good
playoffs,
league,
guys.
but it
11-3, no, 11-5. I think they were.
no, they were like 500.
No, not the year they were like they had 11 wins the year they went to the playoffs.
All right, so it was 11-5 then. But anyways, I'm just saying the farming. I think the farming system matters.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
agree.
it's
So-
cream of the crop.
But let's move on to number 4. I have Anton Harrison at 4. And this is just
Oh, we're going Anton Harris?
yeah,
Harrison.
we can't go off yours because I'm running the show.
No, I'm just looking at names. That's all.
No, Anton Harris.
Harris.
Sorry, he was talking before the show, and apparently he forgot to add the last 2
It's another guy we don't really know his measurables.
So 6'5", 315. He ran a 5'4", 40 at I think his college. Like they do some college day where they just go out and
Like
do
a
some-
college pro day.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, something like that.
They didn't do any measurements on him. Another 4-star recruit coming out of high school. My pros to him, because I don't do cons for these guys. I actually want to look at pros more than I look at cons. Now, sometimes I actually kind of appreciate that you look at cons, Steve, because
you have to.
that's where you grade him.
Yep.
I'm grading based on pros, so when me and you come together, I think that makes a good meld. So great quickness on the edge, natural power and leverage, top pass protector nationwide. So this is one of your best pass protectors in the league. Now, does this make him, and I'm going to ask you guys this, does this make him a solid left tackle because you're worried about the blind side when it comes to passing?
I think it makes him more draftable.
Okay.
I mean, and that's a broad statement. So I think it makes him more draftable because, like we said, there's not one of these guys that in our top 10 that isn't a bad pass blocker. It's more, run blocker. It's more pass blocking. Some of these guys, they're
Everybody
not
in this
super
draft
confident.
can almost can run block.
Yeah,
because,
but
and I
not a
think
lot of
that's
them can
because
pass.
essentially it's a run blocking is an offensive attack.
Yeah.
You're attacking. You're not defending.
No.
And when you're pass blocking, it's pure defensive.
Yes.
So I know that sounds weird because
Yeah,
offensive
it's-
line's playing defensive,
Yeah.
but that's the position of an offensive lineman is to defend a quarterback. And I know Brian watches this. He's probably going to harass me for just that explanation because it is a John Madden explanation.
Well, what is he here?
And there he goes a bit. Bam!
So, but
And Brett Favre.
and the receiver, you know what he does? Then he goes downfield. He tries to catch the ball. So that's a John Madden explanation, right? The offensive line.
He tries to use his hands.
So, and I think that's where he comes into play is that he is a phenomenal pass protector. So if you get a guy that is purely a pocket passer, Joe Burrow,
Ooh. See, okay.
and
So
you get a guy
so-
like this to protect him.
do you have anything?
Do you have
anything
him
that-
getting drafted by Cincy? Is that your little
Did you give a like? Where do you think?
26?
There's
like
no
an
way he
ADP?
goes in the first round.
I don't
I
think so.
think he's a second round guy, but can Cincy move up or move back? Maybe.
I think.
I think
they move
gonna let
back. I
this
think they
dude
move up.
fall to him.
I would love to see him go to Cincy because I think that they could really solidify that line with,
I mean,
with a guy
6'5",
like this.
315. That's big.
I think that's why
It's average for a left
Cincy's
tackle.
going to rebuild their O-line a little bit in this draft, and I think this is a good time to do it because it's a heavy defensive draft, so they can build up and all right. So we don't need. I mean, they're obviously going to need some defense with Von Bell. I think he's gone, but it's not a bad draft.
Well, Jesse Bates might be gone too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a bad draft to all right. Let's go out and get a couple of these guys that not a lot of people are too high on, but
Well,
we're in
Jesse
a good.
Bates ain't gone if they're drafting. If this, I love what you're saying. Right? No. So here's why I love what you're saying because if we just said that since he could drop out of the first and get a guy like this on the line,
That would be big for them.
that would be huge because you don't have to pay a first round player.
No,
So you're not paying
you
4
might
or 5 million
but
in the
you might
first
trade
year.
back is what I'm saying.
I agree. If
Where's-
you trade back, you save money in
Yeah.
the second round. And now you got a guy for 4 years and you don't have to pay him and you can try to find a way to restructure a guy like Bates and keep your defense solid
So-
while fixing the offensive line.
The only thing with that I don't like is you lose the 5th-year option on him.
Yeah.
But do you need that if a guy's going to be a stud?
Yeah,
And
but
you're in the mix for 4 years. Figure it out 4 years down the road.
Yeah, I get, but that 5th year can also help.
For an
Depending,
offensive lineman?
well, depending on where your team's at, they have their Joe Burrow's going to want to get paid within. I think they're going to. Him and
think-
Higgins are going to get a
Joe-
contract this year.
Hopefully
so
you can get Joe Burrow.
you got to get
a
cheaper
Patrick
somewhere.
Mahomes kind of
And
Joe
contract.
Burrow's gonna take the Tom Brady. Or he's gonna take the Tom Brady.
I hope he
route.
does. He
Joe
would be
Burrow
smart.
and
I've been
Patrick
saying
Mahomes are
that.
some of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL, and they know I can get paid in other ways. And I think
Well,
Joe Burrow.
Patrick Mahomes not so much. He's making like $50 million a year.
Yeah, but he's only 160 over 10 mil guaranteed.
So a lot of it's all signing bonus. I didn't
A
realize that.
lot
Yeah.
of it. A
But
lot of it.
you got to remember, Travis Kelce is. I think this upcoming year is his last year for his contract. He's coming up on one.
But Travis Kelce,
But he'll take a
already
friendly,
Said,
yeah.
He already said he'd take a team friendly deal. So that was my only statement about the. We're talking Harrison, right? That was my only statement about Harrison was.
Where do you
That
have?
he's
You
a
said
solid
second round
pass
guy.
blocker.
Second round guy. Where do you have him? What's your ranking?
What's my ranking on him? Starter.
Starter, yeah.
Okay. I have him as a backup.
Okay,
Okay.
now explain yourself then. Go ahead.
So out of my guys, I have him at 8. I don't hate this guy, right? I didn't dislike his tape, but I mean, like every offensive lineman we're going to talk about, when he gets beat, he holds bad.
That is, I agree. There are some guys that coming out of this draft that their go-to is the hold.
So something I noticed a lot.
I'd rather get beaten,
is his hand slip on initial contact a lot.
Yes.
so he's not strong.
So you know what I noticed? What that's funny is he lost a hand fight, and I watched this dude get tossed like a rag doll.
Yeah.
Against
I mean-
Kansas State. Against
I
Kansas
watched him against
State.
Nebraska.
I got Kansas State and TCU, right?
Kansas State had some good
So-
players. So.
His feet get heavy. I have a couple cons. He stops his feet and he doesn't move the defender. He gives up the outside. I have a side note that says it happens too much, meaning you were getting beat by TCU and Kansas State guys that aren't
Speed
even.
rushers.
I mean, you're getting whooped.
I mean, the Big 12.
He
I mean,
struggles maintaining his blocks. He's patient when he pulls right. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
His pass pro's good. Usually he keeps his dude in front of him. That's solid. What are you talking about?
Turn your mic a little bit. No, not your
Where?
wheels.
Oh.
Just turn it, because you're going off to the left side and you can't hear.
What I did like, I noted this because I really like this play. I said he was good in space. I said he pulled for a pitch left, and he just nuked a DB from Kansas State. He smoked this dude so hard it was like Nagasaki. He's aggressive, especially in run game. I mean, I like that. He chips effectively. He chipped and he got back on a stunt defender in passing game. That was impressive. So what that tells me is high football IQ. What are you doing?
You're good. Just keep talking.
I liked his. He had a good initial punch when he can connect at range. So what that tells me, because we don't have measurables on his arm length, so what that tells me is maybe he has shorter arms, or they need to coach him up and say, hey man, you got to punch at range and then, reattack and try and maintain your blocks, because he did have.
Like I said, so his initial contact seems to be lacking.
Yes.
I
agree. I have him as I have him as a backup and a late second round guy. I just wanted to make sure we got that out.
Yeah, I mean,
So what'd you see?
so my cons, obviously, a lot of these left tackles bend at, or a lot of these. Sorry, I keep saying left tackle. A lot of these tackles bend at the waist.
I noticed. Yeah.
They don't seem to have a strong upper body frame.
Or is it that they don't trust themselves?
And confidence is
Yes.
it's a
Like
mean,
Skoronski,
it's
confident.
mean,
He was
man.
confident.
Yeah, but the thing with a lot of these guys is you can build up that confidence.
I agree.
Yeah,
With a lot of
confidence is all
coaching, a
mental.
lot
You
more
can build
reps.
up
I agree.
confidence. You can. I know. Obviously, we say a lot of stuff's coachable. That's 100% coachable. Confidence is coachable because
winning
you have.
makes you confident too.
Yeah, but if like say he goes to Cincy, you got Joe Burrow. You don't think Joe Burrow's gonna hype that kid up? Like, you got this, man. Come on, build off what you did. You got it. I mean, Joe Burrow is. Joe
Burrow loves the worst offensive linemen, so he's going to make you feel confident.
Yeah, I mean, he talks up his own dudes that suck. So
I'm gonna
like,
say this.
you're gonna be good.
And like you said earlier, that's coming from the guy that
Hold on.
stays in the pocket.
So I'm
Yeah,
gonna say this. I was talking to Steve earlier this week.
Uh-oh.
So Patrick Mahomes
Oh shit.
and Joe Burrow is the Peyton Manning and Tom Brady of
I
this
agree.
I've
generation.
said this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you if you did.
I made this.
Okay.
I made this on the show statement multiple times.
When was
that
it? Was I on the show?
Yeah,
Okay.
Patrick
I must have
been
Mahomes
listening.
Patrick Mahomes is Tom Brady. Joe Burrow is Peyton Manning, and I think both those guys will be better than both the historical guys.
But
Oh, wow.
But it's just like you said. So obviously, both these guys are going to take team-friendly deals,
I agree.
which is the smartest thing. Which I think that's what's going to win you Super Bowls. Team-friendly deals. I mean, look at Tom Brady. I mean, I know Tom Brady's the GOAT.
I don't know. So the problem is, what's a team-friendly deal anymore, right?
Not
When quarterbacks are making
$45 million
but
for Daniel
$50
Jones.
million is literally the going rate for a quarterback right now.
So yeah, what's team
Yeah, but
friendly?
so-
Is 35 team friendly?
If 35 team friendly, I would go sign Derek Carr right now. Like
I
What's
agree.
Deshaun Watson's contract?
$54.5 million
Okay.
a year.
54,993.
Okay.
Pretty much 55 a year.
Oh, okay.
But technically it was only 45 a year.
I
but
think
because of his
last
signing
year.
bonus, it added 10 million on everything.
I think Joe Burrow doesn't ask for more than 50. I'll be honest.
I don't think so either.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that a team-friendly deal, though?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
literally a fifth of the freaking.
Yeah, but it's like you
I
said, it's how they
think-
structure it. If they get a lot of money up front,
No.
or they backload it.
Yeah, but
I-
the problem is you can backload it, but you screw the team in the future because the way you do that is by taking the bonus and structuring it over the
Right.
term of the deal.
But so-
that's why Patrick Mahomes' $400 million deal was so good because it was a 10-year deal. They took that $400 million, they took, I don't know, like
It's so-
180 guaranteed or 160 guaranteed, and they split that up over 10 seasons.
What were you saying, Johnny?
I think that Derek Carr and Daniel Jones will ask for more money than Joe Burrow gets.
Yeah. So this is what. So obviously, I don't know if you guys watch the MLB or see any of their contracts. Their contracts are ridiculous. 10, 15.
MLB.
MLB.
Baseball.
That's what I think football is going to turn into. You're going
No.
to get these long deals.
No, quarterbacks might turn into that.
So that. But remember, so a couple of years ago, there were some people talking about the quarterbacks need their own salary cap. Do you think that'll will
No.
ever be?
I think
Never
if
be
you
a thing.
adjust, I think if you screw with the salary cap in the NFL, it ruins it.
It doesn't
you can't
exist
do,
anyways.
You 100% can do super teams in the NFL if you get rid of a salary cap.
I don't think it.
Yes.
I don't think the salary cap
Oh, yeah.
matters.
Oh, my God.
anymore.
No,
I
it
mean,
does.
look at the
It does
Rams.
matter because you're not going to put a guy like Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson on the same team.
Yeah, but in the Rams, you had Matt Stafford, you had Bobby Wagner, you had Aaron Donald, you had Jalen
But I
Ramsey,
win
you
the
had Cooper
Super
Kupp.
Bowl. I win the Super Bowl every year if I have Tom Brady throwing to Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, and I stuck a freaking Jonathan
yeah.
Taylor at running back, who's not even paid yet. No,
I'd rather
I
Nick Chubb.
appreciate the salary cap. I appreciate it. And technically, the MLB has a salary cap. They just pay a fee.
It's an
over the cap fee.
Yeah.
It's a luxury
It's a
tax.
tax.
Luxury
Yeah.
tax.
It's
Anyway,
like
let's
the
rein
NBA.
this back in.
Sorry.
Yes.
But Anton Harrison, you guys, I grade him starter. You grade him as a backup.
He's a backup
we
for
both,
me.
We all
I
think
starter,
that
yeah.
we all think that this guy could come in the NFL and make an impact.
But yeah, he is the best pass blocker in.
They had him as the best pass blocker in the nation. Most people.
There's
Like,
one guy
he was
I have
phenomenal.
who's good at both.
But let's move on. Let's go to DeJuan Jones out of Ohio State. This is my fifth guy.
Steve liked him a lot.
Big boy. 6'8", 375 pounds, 5'4" seconds. I mean, super athletic. Massive in size and power.
That's what she said.
Wide base, effective in space, devastating in the run game. This guy is like top 100 percentile of all of his measurements. Arm length, 36 5/8. Arm span, 89.5 inches.
375.
Hands, 11 3/8 inches. And he's a 5-star recruit coming out of 4-star recruit coming out of high school. So, Steve, you like him so much. Where do you have him on your rankings?
I love this guy.
Where does he play for you? And give me what you got.
I love this guy. He is my favorite tackle. He's my number one. He is
Over Paris?
over.
Yeah, he has him
He
over-
is number one. I think. I mean, his intangibles are, the best. Literally. He's 21. He's effective with his arms, so he knows how to use and punch and attack at range. That in itself is big. That's really, really big. He keeps his guys in front of him. He picks up stunts well. And that's with a shitty guard next to him. So he's doing a whole bunch of this on his own, often. When he gets his hands inside, his defender's stuck. He doesn't quit. He's always looking for work. This dude's hungry. He checked off his defender, right? His defender broke out into coverage, and then he came back in and he helped his guards on the inside. To me, that says high football IQ. He's helping his guys. He's always hungry. He's aggressive. He's nasty in the run game. When he chips and he goes second level, he's a monster. So this dude, and he's got a good initial punch. I love this guy. He didn't get beat in the games I watched.
He had some hand slips and lunges, but other than that, he's
I think he does rely too much on his length and strength at times. He doesn't let the technique come in. Those are my cons.
Do you think that gets him into trouble early, or
Like I said, he didn't get beat in the games I watched. Granted, it was Maryland and Michigan.
I did Notre Dame and the Georgia game again,
Okay.
so I could watch
Which
both those guys.
those probably would have been better games to watch. I wanted to make sure I watched the Michigan game. I wanted to see how these guys reacted to get.
But yeah, like we said, we all like watching different film, but it brings better aspect to the show because we're all getting different views of how we like the guy or how we don't like the guy.
I think that if need be, because he is still so raw too.
I don't know if he's. What do you mean raw?
Like he didn't have a whole bunch of starts at right tackle.
No,
This was his first season.
but he's got great awareness.
He's got
no
fantastic
matter where
awareness.
he's
This was
at.
his second season at right tackle.
Yeah.
Was it?
Both our
Yeah,
tackles did not.
He gave up 0 sacks this year. Last year he gave up, I think, 2 or 3 sacks.
But that's
this
what
is
I'm
his
saying.
second year.
So
at right
for
tackle.
the offensive line for Ohio State, both our tackles did not play. They were not scouted to be tackles. These guys were scouted to be guards.
You can't have a 6'8" guard.
But he was scouted to be a guard coming out.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
They didn't have him at tackle, and this is only his second year.
I-
Or that might be Paris Johnson. I might be thinking of Paris Johnson.
No, he played left tackle his sophomore year, and then he went to right tackle his
the last
Okay, so
year.
senior
maybe
year.
it must be
and then his second senior year.
the
he
red
played-
shirt.
Yeah,
Who's second senior year?
Jones. Oh, no, he played. Yeah.
Both these guys are juniors, I thought.
No, he's a.
So I might be thinking of Paris Johnson.
He
bad.
is a. I want he's a second year senior.
He was they had the COVID year.
Yeah,
That's
he
Paris
did
Johnson's
play during
21.
the COVID year.
There you go. Both
Paris Johnson and Skoronski are the youngest coming out. I'm pretty sure.
because I know
Yeah.
both Jones and Johnson, right? DeJuan Jones and Paris Johnson are both 21.
So DeJuan Jones is 21.
Yeah. I have him.
2017. Okay, so 2019 was his first year.
Okay.
And he played 4 games. 2020 was
Yeah.
the COVID year. And I think that was the shortened season. He played 3 games. In
Yeah.
2021, he was a junior. 2022, he was a senior. So he was a first-year senior. But he started at left tackle in 2020 in those 3 games. Then he went over to right tackle in 2021. and then 2022.
Okay.
So I must
I
be
think-
thinking of Paris. That
Yeah. I have him as he's a top 10 talent for me. I have him ranked as elite. He's my only elite tackle.
Okay.
I do think he is athletic enough and he can do it, and he has the intangibles
Paris
and,
Johnson's only played 3 years.
and the skill set. And the skill set enough to be able to be a spot starter at left if needed. He can switch. He's already done. He did it in college for a minute. I really, really like this kid. To me, nobody's got him going in the first.
a lot, but
And I think he's a top 10 talent. I really,
So
really think.
this would be your sleeper pick then.
This is-
If he
yeah, you could call
so I'm assuming you have him as a first round draft grade.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's your best
He's a
overall.
top 10 talent.
He's your best overall.
Yep.
So I think most people have him graded second day, so probably mid to late second to
Yeah,
early third.
Yeah. I think they're missing it, in my opinion.
I don't know if they're missing it. I think that there could be an issue because he is a team player. He's not a standout. And I think that's good for most offensive lines being a team player, right? Like you said, he pairs up well with his guards on the right side.
Yeah, he helps his guys.
But for a guy that went from left tackle to right tackle,
he made a good move. Like he
it's
was
good for him, but most people are looking for a left tackle in the first round, not a right tackle.
Yeah, but the fact that he did play left tackle.
Not good. But anyway, it was 3 games, so I can't really say much.
No, but like you said, you can always see how it throw it at the wall, see if it sticks.
But there says a lot, right? When a guy like DeJuan goes to right tackle and then Paris Johnson's at left tackle, like how do you pick the right tackle over the left tackle
Maybe
when
you
you're
draft
drafting?
both.
But I don't see that
I
happening.
like. I don't know. I mean, I like his skill set better.
But do you
that's
understand
all.
what I'm saying, though?
Well, sure.
Right tackle is an easier spot.
Yeah,
It's an easier
because
position
it's not the
to play.
blind side.
Right. So and that's left
Not
tackle.
your best.
right.
You're not going against the best end
Right.
at right tackle.
That's not
So,
true. Sometimes
depending-
defenses flip that up. Like
well,
I mean, Miles will
depending.
switch up too.
Yeah.
TJ Watt,
That's
TJ
when they
will
want
switch
the
up.
sack.
Well, that's when the defense calls for it, right? Because you switch up your guys and you go against what would presumably be the easier tackle.
Yeah.
But also most of your rollouts are to the right side.
So do you think that makes it, you make so with you just saying you go against the easier tackle? Do you think that hurts Jones?
In the draft position, 100%.
Yeah.
Maybe
in draft position, right? Because he's coming out as a right. But I think
that's what I'm saying.
he's
So because you're going to scheme for that, is that a worry you guys have with him?
no.
I have a worry
Or-
with speed.
Okay.
I like.
I think his footwork is not as quick as Johnson. I think that's the difference. I think that's why Johnson was a left tackle and DeJuan was a right tackle. So I think that's the difference there. Where do you have him ranked, Wheels? You had him at 5?
I have him at 5.
All right, so me and you are tit for tat at this point. Darnell Wright is my 6th guy. Well, let me do a recap really quick. Top 5 guys, we have Peter Skoronski, Paris Johnson Jr., Broderick Jones, Anton Harrison, DeJuan Jones. 2 of these guys Steve has out of their top 5.
Yep.
Well, technically one's at 5, right?
Which
Yeah.
One was at 5, one was at 7.
Actually, Skronsky's 6. I lied.
Okay,
I messed
so
up
he
my
has 2
ranking.
of his guys out of his top 5. So let's go to 6. I have Darnell Wright at 6. Darnell Wright, 6'4", 342 pounds, 5.3 second 40. He's mid on the size scale, arm length 34 and an 1/8 inch. That's dead, like 50 percentile. Arm span 82 and 3/8. Hands 8
Tiny.
and a half, small hands, but that doesn't matter when you're a left tackle if you can get under the pads.
No.
Especially if you have
grip
strong
strength.
hands, you're right. Exceptional run blocker, aggressive at the second level, and he's got a solid foundation. So Wheels, give me your take on
He from the
Darnell.
games I watched against him with Alabama, he's really good against the bull rush. Not so much the speed rush, but I mean just the pure bull rush. He holds his ground. I think he's a good pass protector, which I mean there's not, like we said, there's not a lot of these guys that are good at both. His run blocking and him getting to the second level, I think sometimes he can be a little too aggressive, and that gets him into trouble. I mean, so he's unbalanced, I guess I should say, between initial contact and getting to the second level. He's just he's not polished. I don't want to say he's raw, but he's not.
so he
polished.
gets knocked off his line
Yeah,
essentially. So like if
Exactly.
he's going and his assignment's on the right side and he's trying to pull to the right,
yeah,
he gets knocked off that line sometimes. Is what you're saying.
yes. And I mean, so on
Which
double,
means to me he plays smaller than he is.
yeah, but his hands, he's got tiny hands, but he's got good grip strength. Like from the initial contact, he gets in and under those pads, and he holds on for dear life. Like he's just, all right, let's go on a ride.
He holds on.
No. You're allowed to do that on the inside.
I'm
It's
messing
called
with
driving
you.
the bus.
I'm messing with you.
You know,
Driving
Yeah,
the
but
bus.
if a
what I'm
guy's trying to
saying.
spin, you can't do it.
Yes,
You have
you
to
can.
let him go. No, you have to let him go.
Nope. Not if you got him. If you have strong enough hands, he ain't spinning nowhere.
Well, correct. If you can hold him inside, yeah.
So I think where he's not the greatest in measurables, he makes up in just strength. He's a strong guy, and I don't think he shows it. I mean, he's mentally, I think
we'll see
he's-
that at the combine. That's something to look at the combine.
Mentally, I think he should be drafted higher than he is or prospected higher than he is because he has the time with Tennessee. I think he was a 5-star coming out, played in the SEC against good defenses.
5-star coming out.
5-star coming out.
All right, so Steve, what do you have him
Well,
at?
where do you have him drafted? Like, what's your ranking for him?
Second round to third round.
Yeah,
Wow.
second
round.
second round.
Okay. What's your ranking? Gonna back
Starter.
up starter.
I'm
Okay.
gonna stay starter. I like him.
I probably have him actually somewhere around 60.
Like I said, ADP is not my thing at all.
I have him probably 65 to 75.
Okay.
So that's early third.
Okay.
So I have a late first round grade on him, right? So this is me. I think he's a starter.
He's
I really
mid-second.
liked him. Huh?
He's mid-second.
I liked him. I liked him a lot. He's my number 3 tackle, actually.
Late first.
Where
So-
would you have him go? Then?
Well, here's my issue with
Where is he
Steve's
going?
ranking is he has 3 guys late first.
No. I have 2 guys early first.
You essentially have
Skoronski's
3. You have
late
3
first.
tackles, 4 tackles going in the first round.
They're talented.
All right.
They have talent, right?
All right, continue. Sorry.
My thing with Wright is watching the Bama game. You can say what you want, but it depends, in my opinion, how you value the skill set of Will Anderson. Because Will Anderson didn't do shit that game, and they were that's their
And
guys.
that's one of the games that I watched with Will Anderson that kind of made me second guess on him.
Really? Because I looked at him like, well, Will Anderson didn't do shit. So
That's what I'm saying. Will Anderson, I don't like.
yeah,
He's like
After
Ryan said,
watching
he's
this game-
he's a raw guy.
Yes.
And like I'll die on saying this, but name seems to be a lot coming out of college.
It really does.
And I think that's where he's gaining a lot of this momentum.
Well,
is his
name in school, his nickname was the Terminator.
Yeah.
And you go to Bama.
I mean,
then
a lot of these guys are like, "Oh, Bama, he's going to be a stud. Let's draft him."
Exactly.
And it's not
So
how
does
it
that-
always works out. I don't
exactly.
think it's going to.
So does that speak more to Wright or does that speak against Will Anderson?
I think it's both ways. I think Darnell held his ground, and
I think so. Yeah.
I think that maybe he's being under graded and
Okay, undervalued.
and
Yeah,
undervalued,
yeah.
and Will Anderson might be overvalued
I think
because
so.
of, again, how often do you think of the SEC and you think of, all right, Tennessee? No, you don't think of Tennessee. You think of Georgia. You think of Bama.
Yeah,
I mean,
agree.
Shit, you think of LSU, Auburn before you think
Yep.
of Tennessee. Tennessee has just been
Well, it's been a decade or 2 since
Yeah,
Tennessee's
I mean-
been Tennessee.
Since Peyton Manning, since '98.
Yeah, I mean Tennessee. I like Tennessee. I've watched them. My brothers know I like Tennessee. That's
I'm a lifelong
reason
Vols
why I
fan.
like Hendon Hooker. I mean, it's probably my second. I know you guys
Hendon
think,
Hooker's
and
my
if you
two.
have a second. Tennessee's my second favorite college
I like-
team.
I like
and a
Tennessee
lot.
too. I do.
Alvin Kamara, I liked a lot coming out. I mean,
Yep.
Tennessee has produced some guys. It's not as much as these other SEC schools, but they hold their own. I
agree.
just think again, name helps you get drafted.
Okay. All right. So a couple of my cons, right, which I don't really like, but I think you can coach this up. I have he lacked aggression, right? He get flat-footed, which I did see. And I'm like, I don't like that. That's not great.
I don't want
So
a
do you think
single
he- do
offensive
you-
line that gets flat-footed.
Do you think he says that's heavy feet or
I think it was
a
like
tell that he's gonna
nervousness, and he was like, we're gonna anchor down. I didn't like that, but that can be coached out. And he allowed the defender, he allowed Anderson to get into his pads, which shows little punch, which I don't think he.
But he held his ground against.
But he held his
Anderson.
ground. That's why, like, watching that game and watching him go against this dude, I was like, what the French toast are you
Yeah.
doing?
So it goes back to what we were saying.
Which-
Is it more Anderson
was he
or is it
afraid,
more?
was he fearful and he wanted to be sure of himself? So lacking confidence.
Yeah, but I think you're gonna have
Because
this with
then
all
you-
these guys. They're all young. All these guys are younger. Their confidence is gonna be.
And you will see a lot of comps and comparisons to all these guys that might be similar because that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
Right off the bat, like these guys are here to be coached. They're here to be coached to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
Yep.
So confidence is a factor, especially. See, this is the hard part, right? Because being a defensive edge rusher, a lot of it's instinct and aggression. So like
You
you
get
can
angry.
teach. There's a lot of teaching there, right? But it's instinct and aggression. And to be an offensive lineman, it's more technique and IQ.
You're a fast defensive tackle if you're on the edge.
So when you have a habit of getting beat at a young age, it will tear your aggression, tear your ability down a little bit, and
Your
that's where that
confidence.
confidence comes
Yeah.
in. So you got to go up against, and that's why I like when Ohio State plays some shitty teams, because it's a build of confidence factor.
Yeah,
for these
it's,
guys.
you know what's funny?
No one's getting past me. No one's getting past me. Then you get out there and you go up against a guy like Will Anderson. You're like, bring it. No one's beat me all season.
Yeah.
Bring it. So now you're in Anderson's head. He's coming at you, and boom, he can't beat you.
Yep.
And he tries. You've actually, your IQ is screwed up Anderson, because now Anderson's, well, I'll beat him on a stomach.
They even sent a double team with
And he didn't.
Anderson, and he
Right.
didn't get beat off.
That's my point.
And that's what's crazy is because the fact that he can hold up Anderson and another guy
And yeah,
that was
and
great.
still
I
hold
saw
his
that. That was one of his
ground
highlights.
This-
is
I saw it.
insane.
But we're
This is
on
why-
Darnell. We're on Darnell.
yeah.
so.
This is why I liked Whippler, because I watched his tape and I watched what he did against Jalen Carter, and I was like, Carter didn't do anything that game. I was like, these guys are sleeping on Luke Whippler.
Right, but Darnell, what do you have him as?
Starter.
Do you have him as a starter?
I think he can be coached up a little bit. The hand size might be an actual big issue.
He's not catching the ball. What the hell do you care for hand size? As long as he's got strong grip strength, maybe guard.
yeah, grip strength. He's got good grip
be a good
strength from
guard.
what I watched.
But I
He'd be
really
a solid left guard,
I like what I saw from him.
especially in the run game.
I think he's going to be successful at the next level. Yeah, he's an animal in the run game. I like the pull. He pulls with ease. He's good. He's quick on his feet when moving, right? And I like play to the whistle. I mean,
All right.
he's a guy. I really like him for an. I mean, Brennan draft picks real quick.
Well, I will say
Late
a lot of these
first, I mean,
guys,
maybe
a
the
lot of these
Eagles.
guys in the top 10, I think what makes them a standout is that they play to the whistle.
Yep.
When you start getting out of the top 10, you can tell these guys take plays off.
Yep.
yeah,
And that's a huge issue as a tackle in general, right or left.
because it shows how much heart you have. Do you have
right.
the heart to just keep going at it even when you're
Speaking
Speaking
tired?
of heart, I'm gonna go to my boy,
Who's your boy?
number 7, Cody Mauch. This kid
AKA
started as a
Trash
tight end at
McGillicuddy.
like 240 pounds. He now is a left tackle, and when you watch him as a left tackle, he pulls phenomenally.
He's 7 for you.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Well, he's 7 because there's so much above him.
Okay.
But this, to me, could be a sleeper. You could get a guy like this, and with the heart and tenacity of him, I think he plays well.
So-
305 pounds, 6'6", 4'8", 40. Now, I don't know if that was taken at 240 pounds or if that was taken at 305 pounds, so I'm going to keep an eye on him at the combine. Arm length, 32 1/8, small arms, arm span, 79 3/4, small arm span, hands, below average for a lineman. To me, rarely beaten on the to the outside, especially in the run. Productive left tackle, effective in space. That's why I like Mauch. So, for me, the reason why I have Mauch where he is, I have him as a 3rd round guy, is because nobody else likes Mauch. But to me, I have him as a high 2nd, and if I were to draft Mauch, I have him as a high 2nd grade, and that's because the heart of this kid. And the ability, like, not many people will just go put on 70 pounds, 60 pounds to play football.
You know, to change positions, change everything you've known coming out of high school, Pee Wee.
Well,
all
I mean, a
that.
tight end and a left tackle can be similar. The only difference is
That's
size.
a lot of asks.
But if you're a phenomenal tight end and a good blocker, like, you're just a 6th lineman.
Yeah,
And
it
guess
just-
where you're at?
I mean, he's
you're
probably-
on the outside of the line.
He probably wasn't he probably wasn't an offensive threat for tight end, so they moved him to be a blocking.
I bet you the
blocker.
issue was his vert.
Yeah, and so we're going to talk about tight ends. I mean, that's the issue with some of these tight ends is they're not a vertical threat.
Correct. No, I meant his vert as in his
Oh,
high jump. Like, he probably just
my bad.
couldn't high point the ball. And because some people can only run, some people can jump, but some people can't run and jump.
All right. So
Like-
you got him. You got him in the 3rd. Well, now, what's your ranking?
7. I have him as my 7th.
No, like in our rankings. Is he a starter? Is he a backup? Is he your?
I think he's a starter, and the reason why, and I know you can kill me all day for this take. The reason why I think he's a starter is because I think he's going to go on a team. He's going to be drafted as a backup, and he's going to produce day one and beat a person out of a position.
He looks like a Viking. He honestly does. He looks like a beast.
Maybe that's part of the reason I love him, man.
In the film I watched,
Anybody that plays without front teeth,
honestly, there's not a lot of bad I saw on him. So I mean, obviously his arm span's bad.
You want to know his bad?
He drops his head just like a lot of these tackles we're talking
his
about.
His negative to me, he's too aggressive. Yeah. Would be my negative.
I think he would fit by a better guard though, because of his arm span.
Could be. He's very quick.
Yeah, but again, it's here nor there. I love movability. If I can play you left tackle, or hey, our guard gets hurt.
So Steve hates this guy.
I didn't say that.
Steve, Steve, give me your takes on him.
I don't love him. I mean, he's coming from a small school, which is starting to produce more and more dudes, though. So that's something.
North Dakota State.
I have him as a late third pick. I think he's a project. Because of arm length, he's probably gonna be more suited at guard. And
it does suck in the NFL, right? You're playing with monsters, and when you're a monster yourself, you look small.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, look at Jordan Davis. The dude's
Jordan Davis looks like a mountain.
Yeah.
Around a bunch of mountains.
Yeah.
So a couple cons, right? He stepped his feet at times when he was blocking, and it kills all the momentum he has. When he keeps his feet moving, he does very well. His hand placement overall needs worked on. If he keeps his hands inside, he'll typically, when we hear with these guys or we see with these guys, you keep your hands inside, you do well.
That's a negative for him because he does struggle with the fighting.
And I think if he pairs that with continuing plays and hand placement, he's going to do fine. I have him. He's good in space and screen plays. When he does use his hands, he is very effective. I said he uses his short arms the best he can.
I mean, you can't just go like break your arms and extend. I mean, you can.
No, but I mean,
it'd be probably worthless.
But he does what he can with what he has. He pulls decently. He's effective when he connects, when he pulls. I have an example here. Went second level on a run play, chip linebacker, and then turned and picked up a rushing safety. I remember that play. That was very impressive. That was very impressive.
He doesn't give up.
And
this is one of those
guys
well. Is so aggressive in the offensive line game. Like, he just doesn't give up. And that's what I love about this kid.
Now, my ranking, he's 11 for me.
Just out of your top 10.
Just out of my top 10.
Okay.
And he's a late third pick. I have him as a backup.
All right. And Wheels, what do you got him at?
I'm as late second.
So you and I are kind of in the same area.
But again, ADP is not my...
No, it's all right. I mean,
at all.
You'll learn that the more you do it, because you'll see. To me, it's not... You got to keep in mind when you do ADP that who needs this position.
Yeah, and that's the hardest thing.
Right, so like you don't
know where they're going to go because we still have yet to have any cuts. We still have yet for free agency.
Well, you can have a guy like Steve's, like he's got 5 guys probably in the first round, but how many teams many teams need a tackle in the first round? So like that's why people fall out when you go.
So he's your dark horse.
So yes, okay. I would say he's probably my dark horse in this pick.
Okay.
Do you have a dark horse, Steve?
Well, he does. I don't think we're there yet.
I mean, I guess my dark horse would have been Jones because I don't think he's in top 10 for any of you guys.
He's top 5.
So what are we at, 8 now?
DeJuan Jones, top 5.
DeJuan Jones is 5 or 5. He's top 5 for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think probably Blake Freeland's probably gonna be my dark horse.
That's literally the next one for me.
Oh, for real?
At 8, Blake Freeland I have at 8. Can you show that up, Johnny, for me?
I'm looking for it.
Yeah, it's not alphabetical order. I'm sorry.
Again.
Yeah.
All right, Blake Freeland, another big guy, 6'8", small weight for his height, 312, 5.03 seconds, 34-inch arm length, arm span, 82 and 5/8, hands, 10 inches. To me, 3-star recruit coming out of high school, natural strength and leverage, fluid mover in the pass protection, and great quickness. Steve, give me your takes on him. This is your guy.
I mean, he's a guy, right? I have him as a second-round pick. I think people are sleeping on him. Now, I will say, I'm going to start with cons, because I remember now I see my notes, I'm like, oh, that was bad. He lost bad to a club and swim. I mean, it wasn't even close. Dude looked like he was on skates.
On the play action?
It was Baylor. I watched Baylor and Notre Dame. I'm pretty sure this was Baylor game. Dude smoked him. Yeah. It looked bad.
Yeah, but people lose every now and then. It's about majority of the plays that you win.
I agree, right?
So,
'Cause
like,
you're
that's
going
my
to win
issue.
most of the time. That's why you get a starting job. However, when you do lose and it looks that bad, that's not great. I will say, so I have specifically, stamina was clearly a factor in the Baylor game. In the early fourth, he was quitting on plays and giving up hurries on his quarterback. That's a problem. So he had a false start during the Baylor game at a crucial moment in the fourth when the game was tied. So missing like that, that's big.
Hurts.
It hurts, right? Now,
He's not the greatest pass blocker.
see, I did like his pass pro. I mean, overall, I like this pass pro. I
Obviously, he can develop it more, is what I have.
Sure.
I mean, he's another guy that likes to lunge into a block.
and I didn't necessarily see that. I like it. I have he attacked at range. I have his hand placements good. He's inside as much as possible, which that's big. That's big, because if you can teach that, or if someone comes in already knowing that, and you got to teach other stuff, all right, that's fine. We can work on some sprints.
Yeah.
We can get that stam
Yeah,
up.
we can get you. We
I
can,
mean, you know what I'm
get you to
saying?
have a little bit more.
We can get
more
you,
in
baby.
the tank.
We can boost that. I have he's an animal in the run game. He had a reach right, and went second level to take out 2 defenders against Notre Dame. That's impressive. Notre Dame's not slouches, and they got some edge
not at
guys
all.
coming out. And now I did have a note. Stamina was much better against Notre Dame. It was a month later into the season too. So
You think he just had to build it up from the off season?
I think so. Yeah, I think maybe he.
Do you think
probably
that's something that's going to be telling coming in the NFL that hey, you might not have the stamina, or
I think coaches are going to see that and they're going to be like, "Listen, man,
you got to build this up, get in the weight room,
yeah,
go run some sprints."
you can't be."
Well, I mean, you can. That's one of the things a lot of guys do when they go to the NFL. They build mass.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the right drugs there.
He'll be an early preseason player, I think, throughout whoever drafts him. He'll
I
be
think so.
playing every preseason game.
I think he should.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Steve, or not Steve.
So now I
Wheels,
have him as a late second, and I have him graded as a backup.
Wheels, where do you have him at?
I have him early early third.
Right. That's probably
And
where
he's probably. I mean,
He's number 5.
yeah,
for me,
he's
too.
fringe starter backup.
he's your 5.
He's my 5.
Yeah, he's
I
on the
have-
fringe as starter backup.
Scrounge
He's just
is-
because where I have him drafted in ADP, he's right. Depending, I think he can overtake a guy on the right team.
Okay.
But I don't
I agree
know
with
if
that.
he has enough coming out of college to be like, all right, he's going to be our guy.
That's why I have him as backup.
So
I agree.
it's hard. I think he's right there. I mean, I think it's a straw between the two.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. I like Brett Blake. I have him at 8. To me, backup. I
Okay.
don't think he's ready to start.
Do you know where do you think he's getting drafted?
Me, late 3rd.
Okay.
Mid to late 3rd.
Okay.
I don't think he's in a situation where he's ready to start yet. But he does have the athleticism for his size, which is great. But if you add weight, you're going to slow down, and his footwork's going to get a little worse.
And he's not going to have as much stamina.
So
That's true.
now let's move on to I have at 9 Matthew Bergeron. Bergeron.
Is it Bergeron or is it
It's
Bergeron?
probably Bergeron.
Bergeron.
Oh, it is Bergeron. It
Bergeron.
is Jur. You're right. It is Bergeron.
Kid out of
height,
Syracuse?
Yeah.
You have him at 9?
6, yeah. Height
Same.
6'5", weight 323, 40 yard 5.3, arm length 33 and 5/8, arm span 82 and 3/8, hands 9.5. Here's my player summary. This guy was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school, high IQ, adaptive to stunts, powerful and stable base, can get to the second level easy. All right, Steve. Well, I'll give you mine really quick.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have him at 9. This is a day 3 guy. He's probably going to be in the 4th or 5th round. And this is just because of team needs. I think he has the ability to be a 3rd round draft pick, but he's probably going to be in the 4th or 5th round. He has a habit of over pursuing. This is one of those guys that can over pursue, but he's also so good in the run game, and that's because of his pursuit. Yeah. So you got to keep that in mind. Steve, where do you have him? And I also have him as a project.
Yeah, so that's where I would put him at.
Yeah, as a project.
Yeah. Steve,
See-
what do you have him as?
See, I like. He's my number 9, right? He's my number 9 tackle also. He's junior's 22. I liked him at points, right? So
Peaks and valleys.
peaks.
Or
So I
mountains.
watched Clemson and Notre Dame, which means I got to watch Miles Murphy work this dude, and he did. Miles Murphy straight smoked this kid, often. So he he lacks a lot of football IQ, right? So I got a note committing to helping tight end outside instead of his guard inside on a pass set, and it cost him a sack. So you missed a rush. That's bad.
You can't do that. I mean,
can't miss.
that's going to lose you draft position.
And there was another play. He left his tight end to take on Myles Murphy alone, and you can't do that. He was smoking you. He's gonna rock your tight end. He gave up a sack, but it was QB. QB held the ball too long.
So he leaves his assignment a lot, or he gives up.
He makes the poor choice, and he did that in one game.
Yeah. Do you think you can coach that out of him, or do you think that's
if you're like,
hardwired
hey
in?
asshole, if this is the set, you have to take that split second.
That's who
Team's
you're
coming,
taking.
and you have to go. Yeah. You can't just say, all right.
Did you see? In that Clemson game, he sets really high from what I saw.
Yeah, he was high. He was high in his movements. He didn't stay low. He didn't keep a solid base.
No.
Now I will say he does engage early though, and he does attack at range. That's big. If you can,
and he can get to that second level.
But that can also be a
quick.
negative at the same time.
Well,
Do you think that it is more he's too aggressive?
It's a negative at the pass.
Okay.
when you attack early,
Yes.
you don't want him to come into you. I don't care what anybody says. You do not want to let some dude come into
You want to
body.
reach, but you don't want to lunge.
I agree.
So it's negative in the pass because he does both.
I mean,
That's why I'm saying.
I think Myles Murphy is that dude. Personally, I think Myles Murphy is actually that guy. I think he's the Will Anderson everybody wants him to be.
He's my number 2, bud.
Will Anderson?
Like defensively.
Hey.
Oh,
Hey. Offensive tackles.
I'm just saying.
Going back to the D tackle. I know you love the D tackle.
No, that's not it. This is the game. This was a guy I was watching.
Yeah. We both had the Syracuse Clemson
Now,
game.
I will say though, when he got his hands inside of Myles Murphy, he stopped his rush cold. He stopped him. If he can work on consistent hand placement, he's got a good future.
All right.
Which you can coach.
So
A lot of these guys
that's
are
a positive
coachable,
for you
yeah.
as hand placement.
That's big.
So-
That's huge. Now I will say, so like chipping and going second level, it looked natural for him.
Because he's an aggressor. Like he's really aggressive at the punch.
Reach runs are a positive.
Did you say reach arounds?
No, reach runs.
It heard. Reach
I
around.
swear to God, I thought I heard reach arounds.
Now I watched him pick up a late blitz. Well, I mean he held his own against Isaiah Foskey from Notre Dame for the most part. That's big. He's going to be Foskey's going to be a solid pick. When he got his hands inside of Foskey, he owned him. So I think that's going to be a big sticking point coaching wise moving forward.
Right.
I have him as a late third. He's a backup for me because I think he still has. There's still things he needs to work on.
That's
but
funny.
But if he does, he can be. I think he's going to be very well.
It's funny, both of you and I have him as a back.
He's a mid to late third for
but
me
you
as
have
well.
You have so many more positives.
He's got good awareness against the blitz, though. He can
It's
read
the-
that blitz.
Yeah,
It's the
I
IQ.
pick up
It's the
blitz.
IQ.
Yeah.
That's the IQ, and he's really good against stunts too. So like that's why.
That's why it drove me crazy seeing that he missed a couple of easy assignments.
You know what?
But that's hand placement
Dude, it's
and
also-
just
It's also the
knowledgeability.
NCAA.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
again,
Syracuse
they're
ain't
still
gonna have the
learning.
greatest head coaches
When you
there. I mean,
when you
I
come
agree.
off the field, the coach goes, "Did you see what you did wrong? Did he do it again?" That's the question. Does he get beat by the same thing again?
is he vulnerable to it? Does it
Right.
happen day in and day
Right.
out, game
so
in
like
game,
when you
week
like
in
we
week?
like we said, I think earlier we were talking about Broderick. He got beat on the inside. Is that because of the double stunt every single time?
I no, it's because I think he gets too aggressive.
Right.
And he fixes it later on. He builds off it.
Well, if he fixes
pulls
it, then
back.
it's not an issue as much as
No,
it is an
but
issue.
that's just one of. So with cons, I don't like to harp on cons. I'm not one of those guys. But if there's some telling things that you're like, hey, this may not work out, at certain where I can see, hey, he gets beat here, but it's
Right.
not happen consistently. If it happens consistently, I put in happens too much. I don't like it, or it's
All
too
right.
often he does this, or too often this happens.
All right, let's. I've got three guys here. I'm gonna try to wrap.
You got
these.
3 guys at
I'm
10?
gonna use these 3 guys. Yeah, these 3 guys are probably right around the bottom 10, like my fringe players. You know, like I always like to
okay.
call them. So I got Zion Nelson, Jalen Duncan, and Ryan Hayes. If I had to rank these 3 personally, I think Jalen Duncan is my top of these 3. Jalen Duncan is 6'6", 298. He's kind of small for his size. 5.25 40, 33 and a half arm length, arm span, 80 and 5/8, and then hands 9 and 3/8. 4-star recruit coming out of high school. He stays very balanced, knows how to push attackers back, great in the pass protection, and can also push to the second level. This guy has a little bit of growth that he needs to do, I think, going to the NFL, and he also can be a backup. This is a guy that's 4th, 5th round kind of guy, so
Yeah.
day 3. Can you do me another favor, Johnny? I'm gonna swing this to them in a second. Zion Nelson was another one of these guys. 6'5", 315 pounds, 5'2", 40, 35-inch arm length, arm span 84 inches, hands 10 and 7/8. It's another big freak prospect.
He's a project. I mean, he can definitely build up to something.
Right, 3-star coming out of high school, strong against speed rush, long arms, agile, better football IQ than most. So this guy is one of those guys that I think is coachable. He could go above Jalen Duncan. I just like Jalen Duncan's pursuit a little bit better. And then the third guy I have is Ryan Hayes. Ryan Hayes is...
Kid out of Michigan.
Yes. Got
6'7", 305.
6'7", 305. He runs under a 5-second 40. Arm length 32 3/4. Arm span 79.5. Hands 10 inches. 4-star recruit, went to Michigan. Strong base, long reach, athletic pass protector. Plays to the whistle most of the time. He does have times where he doesn't continue the game. Great football instinct and capable of sealing the edge. All three of these guys are very similar in ability. Some are faster than others. So every single one of these guys to me are a day 3 guy. You're looking at 4th, 5th round, and I think
4th, 5th.
Yeah, I think they are projects. So I have all these guys kind of at my 10th spot. Steve, what do you have them at? And you can go ahead and break them apart.
I have Hayes at 12. I got Duncan at 16, and I got Nelson at 14. These guys, I did not like any
Nelson's
of them.
at 13. For me.
I didn't like Duncan at all. I thought he was dog shit. I watched him against Northwestern. And Ohio
So
State.
I gave you positives on all these guys. Why don't you give me your negatives, Steve? On Zion Nelson, give me your negatives.
All right, let me go to Nelson. And I'm a big Miami fan. All right, huge Kings fan. Love them. I watched UNC and Pittsburgh 2021 because 2022 tape was minimal. He hopped inside instead during the pass pro set. It didn't seem natural for him, right? His hand placement is awful. He was going second level and he was outside on a linebacker. That just tells me either you're unconfident, you're not confident. You have the size, he has the intangibles, but it's either you're not confident or you thought you were going to lose and you just immediately went for the hold, right? I have a note. His left leg kick turns out into more of a crippled, stanky leg, which
That's funny.
he gives up a lot of ground in pass pro. If he kept his hands inside and kept his base low, he would win his one-on-ones. He leaves something to be desired in the run game. I have a note during the North Carolina game. He didn't look comfortable in the run game. He gets nervous and holds. His footwork needs improvement. Bad habit of not moving his feet. Again, from North Carolina. He had a bad beat. He lost a hand fight and was thrown down by a defender, North Carolina. He doesn't maintain his block ever in pass pro.
So he gets too aggressive and lets off, or he just doesn't have good
No, he
placement.
never actually gains. He's just punching.
He's
trying to punch.
He's small.
He never actually.
Yeah.
He's small for his size.
You mean he plays small to his size? Okay.
He plays small for his size. So that is a big con in my eyes. But that's why he's good against the speed rush.
He lacks aggression, not that he's too aggressive. I have overall his hand fighting is above average. But he needs.
Jimmy.
What's that?
Does he have fun?
He does not because he gets his ass stomped. He does pull well, but I mean, as a left tackle, that's not what you want.
All right. So what do you have on Jalen? Because you said that was Jalen.
No, that was Zion.
Oh yeah. What do you have on Jalen?
So for Jalen, he's got short arms. Poor overall hand placement. Coaching can change that. I do think coaching can change that because once you realize that if you get your hands inside, if you're able to do it, you're going to be successful. He lacks overall aggression. When he plays, when the play gets away from him, he stops. He gives up. I didn't like that at all. That's bad. That's bad to me.
He did have a lot of plays where it kind of reminds me of Jedrick. He just had a lot of plays that he gave up.
Yeah, it left a bad taste in my
Doesn't
mouth.
play through.
Yeah.
He gives up a lot of ground to pass pro. I don't like that. He doesn't help his guard, or he doesn't realize his guard needs help, which tells me it's low football IQ. And I mean, when he played superior talent, which he does all the time because he's in Maryland, he gets beat easy and he just holds.
All right. What about Ryan Hayes?
Now for Ryan Hayes. Let me find him. Here we go. Short arms, 22-year-old senior. I had slow agility, holds when beaten, slow getting outside to counter a speed rush, gives up ground and pass pro, hand placement goes out the window when surprised by defender moves, cannot keep up with Ohio State edge defensive end players at all. He wasn't fast enough to be effective against an edge D end on a reach play left. So, I mean,
That's funny because I have him. He can seal the edge, but I don't. I think it depends on the rush.
Because he struggled on the rusher outside and he's got short arms, he might have a future at guard. I have all of these guys 6th, 7th rounds if drafted at all.
But that's day 3 still.
Yeah,
I just have them.
Didn't care
5th,
for their
6th.
talent.
So,
Wheels, give me a quick breakdown of what you got for these 3 guys. Zion Nelson first.
So Zion Nelson, let me go up to him. Zion Nelson, fast. Obviously, he's fast, long, not beaten off the edge too often. He has played both left and right tackle at times for Miami. Another bends at the waist. He gets high on the blocks on initial contact, and he seems to let off, and that's where he gets in trouble.
Oh, okay.
Because, like you said, he's not aggressive enough.
Yeah.
I think that's what gets him, you know, the where he's not super aggressive.
Yeah.
And then he gets beat on the corner blocks, or the corner rush.
Oh, yeah.
It's another speed rush.
And then honestly, I didn't. So Jalen and the kid from Michigan, they're not even in my top 15.
That's Jalen and Ryan Hayes.
I love that.
I like Connor Galvin,
I don't like Connor
That's fine.
Galvin.
That's fine.
Wanya Morris,
So
and
here,
then
we'll
I like Wanya
so
too.
I'm gonna throw some notable mentions out there. We're gonna try to get through this as fast as we can because we got to move on to tight ends.
Yep.
I'm gonna throw some notable mentions out there. There's about 10 guys here. If there's a stick out for you guys, bring it up when I'm done.
Okay.
One that stands out for you. So I've got 13 Wanya Morris, 14 Connor Galvin, 15 Tyler Steen, 16 Warren McClendon,
I like Warren McClendon.
17 Carter Warren, 18 Luke Haggard, 19 John Ojukwu, 20 Trevor Reed, 21 Earl Bostic Jr., 22 Mark Evans II, 23 Donovan Jennings, 24 Dalton Wagner, and 25 Jordan McFadden. Wheels, do you have anybody here that's a standout for you that you think is going to be drafted? And then for anybody that you think's undrafted, that's a sleeper.
Mark Evans is. They have him being undrafted. I have him 4th round. He is just, the dude's nasty. I don't know if you guys watched some film on him. There's not much game film, but I watched a lot of highlights.
Okay.
And the dude's a beast. I mean, he just gets off the line and just
6'4",
straight
293.
grabs.
That's small.
And he's aggressive.
Well, I think
But he does not play small.
he plays way
For the
bigger than
size, he plays like a 6'6", 6'7" guy
Oh,
with a
shit.
lot more weight.
All right.
And again, you're in, what is it, the HB, whatever, that's the SWAC.
He's an HBCU.
Yeah, HBCU. I mean, he was a walk-on.
And he won I think he won
He's got
like a player of the year for his
Yeah.
conference.
Oh, shit. All right.
As an offensive tackle.
Yeah, and he plays for the whistle
I
constantly.
like how I didn't put his name in there.
Yeah.
Good footwork always. He's a great pass blocker.
Are you doing it?
The only thing,
can't.
the issues I have with him is he has some issues against the straight rush.
Oh, okay.
That's
Like
not-
he's good against
a power rush?
yeah, power rush, but
Ooh.
speed rush. That's weird though. But speed rush, he can hold his own.
That's goofy.
That's what I'm saying. It's
so
weird. So,
maybe
I don't know
that's
if
a
it's
lack of size at
that's-
293.
But you can build that up in NFL. Like
Yeah, they
like
can-
like KJ guy
You
said.
can't grow taller though.
They got drugs.
No,
in-
they do
in the
get drugs,
NFL.
and they eat heavy.
A lot of
okay.
protein and carbs, my friend.
All right, so that's your
So,
guy?
I mean, he's a project. I don't want to
Oh,
say he's a
sure.
backup, but he's a 4th round project. Obviously, a team that they 4th round. You're kind of getting all right later. I have him later to mid 4th. I mean, I think
He's a 6th, 7th round guy. He's not going to get drafted in the 4th.
I like him a lot.
And it's
All right.
mainly because
watch
he's
him
got-
film on him.
but
I'm
here's the
telling
issue.
you, watch
Have
him
your
film on the
guys.
guy.
But the main issue here is he's coming out of an HBCU, and they don't play a lot of good competition.
Which I understand. I mean, but I
So-
watched him against Oklahoma State,
Oh, love that. Love that.
Okay.
and he played really well
Okay, good.
Against
in
who?
my Oklahoma State.
Right, against who?
I honestly don't know on their defense. But
They're going to have better talent than
yeah,
where he's
it's like I said, it's hard to find game film on the guy.
That's all I'm saying. Is
But from the game film I watched, he looks comfortable, but the size is somewhat of an issue, but he doesn't play super small.
Yeah.
No, he plays way bigger.
But
than
his
he actually is,
offensive
but he's
line,
not big at all.
but his guards are
So-
terrible. His guards are terrible. He has no reliability on his inside.
That's because he plays in an HBCU.
Yeah, but I want to see how he does on a solid line.
I told you this before the show.
I know, but
Why did he go to an HBCU?
because he didn't get a contract, he didn't get offered.
He didn't get offered anywhere
No,
else.
and he walked
why is
on.
that? But yeah, he's gonna walk on because he's.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
there's not much I saw that I didn't like.
I love the kid because I love his football.
tenacity.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great word. I love his football tenacity. It's a guy that goes out there and plays football to play football.
Yeah,
And
he's got
very
the
good at
heart.
what he does. Yep.
But
So,
I mean, I like him a lot.
Steve,
and
you said you had one guy in that group.
So
that
I
you really liked.
like Warren McClendon. He's actually 4th for me. And
You
I
have Warren McClendon 4th?
Yep, and I have Wanya
Wow.
Morris. He's 10 for me.
How do you have, dude? There's no way Warren McClendon is above Mouch. Come on, I must kick you in the
Above
shit.
Mouch? Yeah, he played at Georgia. He actually played talent.
Yeah. Okay.
Mouch played fucking air.
All right. So 6'4", 290, 5'2", 640. Arm length 34 inches, which is average. Arm span 80 and 5/8. Hands 10 inches. For me, I have precise handwork, strong against the bull rush, has a solid foundation with the ability to win leverage battles. Another solid pass protector.
Yeah.
Is that what the positives are that you have too?
No, I have some other stuff.
What's your other positive
So
on it?
like his hand placement can be an issue, right? Let's go with cons, right? His hand placement can be an issue. That can be coached up. It should be coached up.
It's funny because I have precise handwork.
Well, that's why I said can be an issue. Now, I watched Tennessee and Missouri from this year. He didn't have control of his defender, was susceptible to spin move, and his guy ended up making the play. That was bad. He holds when he's beat.
All these guys do.
Well, all of these guys outside of the top 10, I think, have an issue of holding when they're beat.
Yeah.
Instead of continuing the play and going after the guy, they'd rather hold the guy, and I think that's an issue, and I
Yeah.
think that's why they're out of the top 10 personally.
He gave up 2 sacks his entire time at Georgia, right? And that was his sophomore year. That was his first year as a starter.
And was he left it right?
He's right.
Right tackle.
He turns his guy well in the run game. That's good. That's big. Plays to the whistle. He attacks early. When he attacks early, he's successful. He's aggressive in the run game. Good footwork. Gets second level with ease, and he moves well when pulling. I like that as a right tackle, big time. Right? That's your run side.
Yeah.
That's historically
That's-
old school football. That's what
your
it is.
stretch
And if
side.
that's your
RPO
guy,
side.
that's the
Yeah.
guy you're drafting to be your right tackle. I love it. I love that.
You
pick.
always have. I mean, like you said, always is the better run blocker at tackle. You're going to put at right.
Yeah.
The better pass blocker is going to be left.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a starter. I also think he's going to be a late.
Why do you
second
think the tight ends always set up on the right side?
round. There you go. He's going to be a late second round. pick.
So, okay.
Early
No. Okay. That's where you have him graded. That's not where he's not going to get. Like, you guys are crazy.
Why?
He's not going to be picked there.
Why?
It's crazy.
Why?
It's crazy.
Why is that crazy?
Because everybody else that's going to go before him, it's a defensive draft.
Okay, that's where he's graded.
That's where you have him graded.
Yeah, that's the point of this.
I agree, but it's crazy.
I like I said, I like Mark Evans. I know you have him late, but I can see him 4th, 5th.
Well, again, Mark Evans, it's the HBCU thing. It's not enough, like you said, there's not a lot of scouts going out there. There's not a lot going on in that area.
But if a team sees what they like, and he's going to be at the combine,
and his
believe
college
he's
sounds
gonna-
like a high school. I can't remember the name of
Arkansas
I mean,
Pine
we're
Bluff.
about to
Yeah,
talk. We're about to talk
Arkansas
about
Pine
some
Bluff.
small name guys and tight ends too.
Yeah, but
right?
that's what I
another
like.
few,
I like talking
another
about
few
these
guys that are out there that Draft Buzz has on their rankings: Dante Bull, Nick Saldiveri, Dylan Wenham,
Who?
Asim Richards, Cooper Hodgins-Thank,
Ain't no-
Hodgins Stank.
Hodgins,
Jordan Reed, and Jarrett Horst.
Ain't-
So
aka nobody.
Yeah.
actually, I have Jordan Reed. I might have wrote his name down twice.
Do you
Oh, no, I have
want?
Trevor Reed and Jordan
Do
Reed.
you want to do tight ends?
So what we're gonna do really quick, we're gonna do a quick breakdown of the top 10 that we had here really quick.
Okay.
And, but before we do that, we're gonna go to our sponsor, Steve.
You, right there. Oh no, John, get on. Yeah, it's great. That's right. Custom hoodies, custom hoodie action. We do it.
Yes, it gifts.
Gessix Gifts. There you go. After Dolan's. I mean,
You know how many
it's like
compliments I had on this shirt last year? It was hilarious. I was walking around
There
the
you go.
grocery store
So-
twice in one day.
Gassick Gifts, what we're gonna do is essentially the show essentially is sponsored by Gassick Gifts because he is the one that's been producing all of the, like, I guess, paraphernalia.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's,
behind his stuff. So he just does a lot of NFL stuff, and he'll essentially do whatever you want. So if you do want anything, please put it in the chat, and we will try to get out to you, and we will make sure that we will find a way to get you a hoodie or a shirt. Or you said you do mugs? Are you working on that?
I can, but that's a little ways off.
All right,
little ways
so
off,
he's
boys
getting
and
there,
girls.
but the goal is to eventually get out there. So if you guys ever want anything, and we'll try to stay on him because he does make the stuff.
I do.
it's
I
good
don't have
quality,
the time
for
to do
sure.
it. What sucks, between this and actual work and stuff, it's hard. It's hard to do it, but you reach out to me and we'll make something happen.
All right, so our top 10 tackles we have, I'm going to say as a group, I understand you guys might not agree with this, but I'll go with your 10 is Marvin because you like him. And who was your 10?
My 10th tackle,
Yeah.
was Morris. Wanya.
Okay, so I'll move Wanya Morris up. All right, so I'll put Paris Johnson here too because I think we all agree that Skoronski's probably worse than Johnson. So we'll put 1, Paris Johnson Jr., 2, Peter Skoronski, and the reason he's there is because of his size. 3, Broderick Jones, really aggressive in the pass, or really good pass blocker.
Yeah.
AKA Bro Derek.
Bro, Derek.
4,
Derek.
Anton Harrison. Can you try to keep up with me?
There you go.
Right.
Anton Harrison. And 5, we will also have DeJuan Jones.
Oh, there he
And
is.
DeJuan Jones, massive in size, power, wide base, effective in space.
Love him.
6, Darnell Wright.
There he is.
We have here exceptional in the run block, aggressive in the second level, solid base. 7, Cody Mauch.
That one I
The
disagree with.
Viking King.
That one I disagree with.
Converted tight end, a tackle rarely beaten on the outside. Productive left tackle, effective in space. Number 8, Blake Freeland. Natural strength, leverage, fluid in the pass protection, great quickness. And number 9 was your boy.
Which one?
You said Wanya
Wanya
Morris.
Morris.
I like
Wanya
Wanya.
Morris.
I like Wanya.
And Wanya Morris himself was
He was. John, do you not have him? There he is.
works in I have him as a work in progress, exceptional traits. He has strong hands, wins at the point of attack. He likes playing with a bit of nastiness to his game.
All right.
Wheels, number 10 was
Mark Evans.
Mark Evans II.
Yes, sir.
And he shows aggressive as a blocker, great in the run game, solid technique and footwork, gets off the snap quick. All right, so that's our top 10 for tackles. And we probably have like a ridiculous amount of research into this, which we'll probably go over more of this research come draft day.
Yeah, like I had
just because
7
when these
other
guys
tackles.
get drafted, we know what's going on
Yeah.
with these players. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into the tight ends, and we're going to go into the
five.
top. We'll do top 5 tight ends, and then we'll do some notables after that because I think there's going to be about 14 guys drafted.
I think a lot of our guys are going to be the same for this top five.
There's gonna be.
Well, right off the bat, we'll just go with the number 1 overall. Everybody's essentially consensus. Me and Steve might have a little bit of disagreement, but when you have to grade a tight end, you also going to include the blocking skills. Michael Mayer is the number 1 overall tight end, probably coming out of this draft. He is a 4-star recruit coming out of high school, and I'm just going to straight up say this is all I need to say. He's a mini Gronk. There's not much more. If you've ever watched Gronkowski play, solid pass catcher at the peak of the ball, or at the peak of his route running. Really good underneath. Very good blocker. This guy is huge. He plays way bigger than he actually is. 6'4", 265 pounds. Runs a 4.65 40. Arm length 32 and 5/8. Arm span 76 inches. Hands 10 inches. He also has very soft hands for being a tight end. Steve, give me your number 1. And
I like Kincaid more.
okay.
Okay, so I like Dalton Kincaid out of Utah more. It is slight. It is very, very.
1A, 1B.
It
1A,
is
1B.
1A,
I
1B
think
for
the
me.
difference is they're
So-
both good at blocking, right? But one's better.
I think Dalton Kincaid is very good at blocking too. Now, I would say, depending on what, like a GM, right? The big tell here is the difference in age. So Mayer's 21, Kincaid's 23.
That's a huge difference.
I think
when
that's
it
big.
comes
Their
to
their
drafting.
40s are pretty similar. Kincaid ran a 4.71. Mayer ran a 4.65. Now, I don't know if they're going to run at the combine, but we'll see them
I'm
too.
sure they will.
I mean, Mayer's 25 pounds heavier.
Both these guys are day 1 starters.
In my opinion, they're day 1 starters. Now, that's hard to determine in the NFL because typically it takes guys a long time By a long time, I mean 2-3 years before they actually start producing from college to the NFL.
But if we had to tier these guys,
if I had to tier these guys are
these are tier
guys
one.
These are
they're,
one for
they're
me.
tier one.
I have them both. They're both super talented. I have them both as top 10 talents.
He was a walk-on too,
Who?
Kincaid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he played. So he wasn't. He played basketball more.
Yep. Yeah, he went to Utah
That's
for
actually
basketball.
one of his
Yeah.
the negatives to him was his focus wasn't football.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was everything else.
I don't have any.
Didn't he do
cons.
like skiing or something stupid like that? too?
Basketball.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
There was
basketball.
another
There was
tight
something
end
else, yeah.
that did basketball, and he
Well,
didn't
all
play.
tight ends do basketball.
Well, I mean, Antonio Gates,
A lot of them
one of
do.
the
Yep.
best. Yep. Antonio Gates.
The,
top 10
the
tight
only
end.
con I have one con between the two of these guys, and that's for Kincaid, and it's just he's lightweight. He's lightweight at 240. That's it.
Average size.
I don't have any cons for these guys. They are super, super good. at
So
what
the
they
only
do.
kind of con I have for Dalton Kincaid, because he's my number one too, is he plays in the slot. So I feel like he plays more as a wide receiver, kind of like
he
Kyle
plays
Pitts.
in line.
Yeah, if you bring up my
So-
overlay, go ahead, bring up my overlay. And I don't think he's anywhere near as talented as Kyle Pitts. He looks and
Ooh,
plays like a wide
I don't know
receiver,
about
great
that
ball
one.
tracking skills, good in the run blocking, small for pass blocking.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you draft him, you can put him at. I mean, you can put him at wide receiver.
Yeah.
He played in the slot. I think
A lot.
over 80% of his snaps are in the slot for
Coming out of the
Utah.
slot. He's a wide
from what I
receiver. He's
saw.
a wide receiver 4,
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
but he's a reliable guy that can go over the middle, so that's why they have him in the tight
and
end.
if
at
yeah, I
tight
mean,
end.
if you have him in the slot, he can crack down on a DN.
Yeah.
He'll smoke that dude.
So that's our 1 and 2. We got Michael Mayer and Dalton Kincaid. Number 3, I have as Darnell Washington.
Oh yeah.
Darnell Washington, 6'7", 270. This guy is a beast, and he runs a 4.6 40. He's the size of a guard with the athleticism of a wide receiver. Fantastic pass blocker, strong and soft hands. When I watched a little bit of film on him, I think the only issue is they didn't utilize their tight end, but he is dangerous in the red zone. What do you have for him, Steve?
I didn't care for him, honestly. Yes, he has good size, right? His 40 time's stupid, which is funny because
He's the biggest guy and just small.
yeah,
he's
Quick as
big,
40.
but his initial burst off the line is dog shit.
he doesn't have
So
the
it's-
speed off the line.
And
No.
we'll see that. That might change come
Combine.
combine.
Yeah, he's gonna have to drop, some weight. But
No, he might have to just drop his hips because a lot of guys have a hard time dropping their hips coming off the line, especially tight ends.
he, I had a
That's how
couple.
you get a burst.
I had a couple. Yeah, well, I had a couple cons. He doesn't finish plays. His initial burst off the line's bad, and he can't separate. No, that's
He does not have vertical threat at all.
No.
I don't think a lot of these guys can separate. To be honest, I think
Mayer and Kincaid 100% can. Actually, there's other guys.
Mayer cannot separate.
Yeah, that's not true.
If you look at Mayer's film,
did.
he's very good at catching around corners and safeties and
He
linebackers.
finds the hole. He
He
can separate.
finds where the ball's at. I disagree. When you're playing in a zone defense, that's not separating. That's finding the hole. That's good offensive intellect.
Football IQ.
Yeah, I agree.
And Michael Mayer's up there because he has a habit of finding the hole.
Yeah.
That's
So-
why Gronk was so good. That's why a lot of tight ends are
Kelsey.
good because they find the hole.
Yeah. You gotta
All right.
find the hole.
I guess I didn't see that with Washington, right? His blocking's good. It's not great. He uses size to overpower. I guess I have those as a pro, but I mean, it is what it is. Good, not great hands. He has ability for big play catches, but his routes take time. So that's my negative. I didn't have him up there, but
Wheels,
On him or somebody else?
Washington
I
at
mean,
3.
He's got a huge frame.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
big.
he's big, but I think he's got to drop some weight because he does not have a vertical threat. Like,
So you think he's got to drop weight, but Michael Mayer doesn't. They're
Yep.
only 5 pounds different.
I was
Yep.
just
Yeah.
gonna say, and it's a .05
Yeah, but
40
Mike
second
Mayer
difference.
plays well to his
size.
size.
Yep.
Whereas
They're both the same.
Darnell Washington doesn't,
He's 6'4", Washington.
and he's not a reliable. I mean, I don't. He's a good blocker, but my biggest gripe with him is he didn't play a lot at Georgia. He did not
didn't.
play a
And
lot,
that's what I said.
And they didn't use him a lot.
Yep,
which is
his
also
utilization wasn't there.
telling. Yeah, I mean, he's not even. My
So-
number 3 is Luke Musgrave from Oregon State.
I have Musgrave as 4.
I have
yes.
Sam Laporta as my 3. Musgrave's my 4.
I like
Laporta,
Sam Laporta. I like
see,
Sam Laporta a lot.
Laporta's gonna be. It's funny. I have Laporta 5. I love
who's
Laporta.
my 5 is
I love
Laporta.
Laporta. But so the reason why Darnell Washington, I guess, is where he is because I would say size. Just because he's better in the block than he is in the pass game. Luke Musgrave. He's my number 4. 6'6", 255, 4.51. That's Laporta. Isn't that? Oh,
No,
no,
that's
that's
Musgrave.
Luke Musgrave. I'm sorry.
Look at the beaver.
How fast that
I
40?
know.
Look at that 40 time. 4, 5. You know what
4,
tier that
5,
is?
1.
96 percentile
yeah.
for 40s for tight ends.
Yeah.
That's
He is not a
disgusting.
blocking tight end. That dude is a straight offensive
prototypical
beast.
tight end.
Blocking
Yeah.
is not a strength.
No, that's what I said.
He excels.
Not a great
he
blocker,
excels in the,
inexperienced.
well, he excels in the run block. He's really good in run
So
block.
my biggest gripe on him is he has trouble tracking the ball.
It's funny because I put excels in the block. I meant to put excels in the run block.
There you go.
Very crisp route runner with soft hands. He's a wide receiver 4.
Yeah.
It's another guy that's, to me, is just a guy that couldn't make it as a wide receiver and became a
But
tight
because
end.
of his size, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm assuming
6'6", 255, 3-star. He's a big boy.
Yep.
yeah, but he's also super quick.
Yeah, he's fast.
He's gonna. I think he's the one guy in the top 5 or below Michael Mayer and Dalton Kincaid, which is a vert threat.
This will be funny. So we'll come back to this. But number 5, Sam Laporta. I think it's funny how all of us are high on this guy.
I like him.
None of us talk about this prior to
Nope.
the show. So Sam Laporta, 6'4", 249, small for a tight end. 4'6", 640, 32 and 3/8, arm length, arm span 77 inches, hands 10 inches. Player summary: 3-star recruit coming out of high school, high football IQ, reliable hands, good route runner, great after the catch, and a strong frame.
He's got
locker room leader.
He's got a huge catch radius.
Yeah,
He
it's-
does.
I mean, he does not miss a lot,
Right,
and
it's-
he's got glue. Like he's got stucco on his
give me a
hands.
comparison for him.
Same school, George Kittle. I mean,
Oh,
Kittle
shit.
Kittle catches a lot.
This is considered tight end U, right?
I mean,
And I'm not
Considered
saying
tight
that
end
just
U.
because it was the same school, but he reminds me of it. I mean, George Kittle, when healthy, his catch radius is huge. He doesn't miss a lot.
I mean,
and
damn.
that is. I
And
mean,
George-
it's
I
funny.
mean-
a lot of people don't think he's as good as Kittle.
I think so. You know what's
That's
funny?
why I mean,
You
that's
say
what I would
Kittle,
have to
right?
comp to, yeah.
What's funny is you don't realize
I
how
think Goddard.
often Kittle plays in line. He lines up. He puts his hand in the dirt, and he does.
He did a lot.
This dude does that a lot. He doesn't split out too much.
I never noticed
Travis
that.
Well, that's
watching
because of
him,
the school.
honestly.
I
didn't
know,
notice
just
that was
because
George
you
Kittle.
just enjoy watching him.
Yeah,
and
he's likable, man.
yeah,
and I don't know
is.
why.
And,
He
and
just
watching
you like
this dude, watching his tape. He's a 22-year-old senior. That's good.
he's young still.
He is. His 40's good. He's got good separation. He's got good hands.
To me,
His
Dallas
route
Goddard.
running. Ooh.
That's a good comp too. Yes.
Like I think he's a Dallas guy. I don't think he's as
Zach
aggressive as
Ertz
Kittle.
maybe.
Ooh.
Travis Kelce.
I hate Zach Ertz is a little more of a block
Okay.
guy and a guy. I
That's,
think
yeah,
he's bigger
that's
than
a
the
good
block.
point. Yeah, he's not the best blocker, but again, you can coach that up.
I like him. I like
can.
Laporta moving forward.
So Michael Mayer, Dalton Kincaid. I think all three of us might have these guys as first round guys, depending on what tight end needs are out there. But we would say these are first round
Yeah.
guys. You have them as top 10, both of them.
I think they're talent-wise, they're top 10.
Darnell Washington, I have early second. What do you guys have him at?
I think
Mid second.
he is a no. You don't want to know mine. I didn't like him.
What do you have him at?
5th round pick.
He might drop. I mean, but there's a lot of tight ends.
Laporta's another guy who's going to be mid second.
Laporta's a second.
Laporta's a second in my mind. Luke Musgrave, late second, early third. I have Luke Musgrave at.
Hold on. I'm just finding my guys. I'm sorry.
I
I have I have a second round pick.
Mayer and Kincaid are the only first round picks.
Yes.
Yeah, and I would agree. Let me give a couple other mentions, see if any of these guys stand out for you. One of them does, but he's out of my top 10. Number 6, and Brenton Strange.
Nope.
Nope.
Never heard of her.
Never heard of him. I don't have him on there.
I was gonna say.
Number 7, Jaleel Billingsley.
Nope.
No, I looked for tape on him, and there really isn't any. I don't.
He's another wide receiver. 217 pounds as a tight end is freaking light.
That's actually that might be too.
He's
Oh,
a-
yeah, I do have him. He's my number 9. Sorry.
He's a wide receiver. A Payne Durham. I don't know why I emphasized it that way.
Durham.
Out of Purdue, 258 pounds, 6'5", 4'7", 840. Large target, plays bigger than he is. Also shows in the blocking game, taking on a large athletes in the block.
Yeah, I didn't watch anything on him. Did you like him? Like, talk about him a little bit. What is?
Well, so again,
is he similar to anybody else we've talked about?
no, but I think this is one of those guys that this is a project in my mind. Like he
Okay.
goes to a team, can go behind like a Kelsey or goes behind even like a Zach Ertz. Like
Okay.
He's
they
got
got
that
him for
veteran
another
to
year.
coach him. He can turn into something
he could
special.
turn into a good player.
Yeah.
That's where I think he kind of is. Josh Weil is another one that
I like him out
everybody
of
is
Cincy.
hyped on.
I like him
I
a
like
lot out
Josh
of
Weil. He's
Cincy.
my 8.
Yeah, everybody's
too.
hyped on. I have him at 9. Everybody's hyped on this guy. Did you see him? He's definitely there.
He's goofy
6'6",
looking.
260 pounds, 4'6'5". He doesn't
He's
look
quick.
like he's 260. Yeah, I mean, he's an average size. He's literally probably prototypical size for a tight end. Exceptional in the seam as a runner. Strong hands, frame, great ball skills, and contested catch monster. He is very good at the,
You know
the
who
high
else
point of attack.
went to Cincinnati? And is one of the greatest tight ends ever. I'm not comparing. It's Travis Kelce.
I was gonna say, yeah, I know it was
No,
Kelsey, but I'm
yeah.
like, oh god, don't do it.
Would you guys have Tucker Kraft
I do.
out of South Dakota State?
I
I
by
do
any way?
have
I have Tucker Kraft, and I have
Kraft.
He's
Zach
my
Kuntz.
number
I have
7.
Zach Kuntz too. You got Zach?
I do
got
not. I
Zach Kuntz,
have
too.
I have-
Tucker Kraft, large catch radius,
Kraft's
strong,
my 5.
strong for his size, soft hands, yet uncomfortable at times with the ball control because he does have a habit of transitioning and it's very sketchy.
He's got a small sample size.
Average size for position. So that's another guy that's
What about
average.
the kid out of Michigan, Luke Schoonmaker?
Schoonmaker?
Luke
I didn't
Schoonmaker?
like him much. He's my 10.
6'6",
And that's only 'cause I only
249,
watched
but he
11.
4'8 second, 4'8", 40. Great catching the ball in traffic, shows toughness after the hit, soft, reliable hands, excellent route runner. So another guy. Most of these guys that are out of my top 5 just can't block.
So, do you have any dark horse that a lot of people aren't talking about? Because I have Thomas Greeny out of Albany.
I don't have a graphic for Greeny.
Zach Kuntz out of Old Dominion.
Raccoons out of Dominion.
To be
I saw some tape on him. I
Pull up
watched.
Zach Kuntz. Zach Kuntz,
My
6'8", 251 pounds, 4'5'7", 40. He's huge. This guy's huge for a tight end. Phenom in the pass game. Looked at
He's
as
got
a third.
42.
Yeah, well, he's looked at as a third wide receiver, not a fourth. He's looked at as a third wide receiver. Needs improvement in the block. Great route running abilities. The problem is the corners he played against and the linebackers he played against. I don't know how
He's
good he
small
is.
school.
I don't know how good he is at the line. You watch some film on him. How good is he off the line?
So I picked games that were against teams that would be considered anything, because this is all I could find was Virginia and Virginia Tech, both from this last year. I have him as a second round talent. I really liked him. I think he's going to go in the 5th round, though. I think he's going to go later. Oh shit, what happened?
Well, it's a sleeper pick then. If he's going to go later if he's going to go in the 5th and you have him as a second round talent, that's a huge sleeper pick.
Yeah, he's going to be a sleeper guy. His intangibles are disgusting. He's high echelon on all of them. He has good separation off the line. He's got a good swim to get past defenders. He's got a good burst out of his stance, good separation, great hands. He was their go-to guy on 3rd down, so they trusted him. He is trustworthy. I liked his blocking. I saw time and again he turned his man to give an edge for his running back, so he set that edge and he opened that hole, if you will. My only con for him was a small school, Old Dominion.
And that's
on.
the
I have a-
hardest thing to go against is because you just don't know the talent they've played against.
Well,
like,
that's why
like
I picked
Mark,
Virginia
like the
and
guy
Virginia
said,
Tech.
Mark
Those
Evans,
were his 2 biggest schools that he played. That was my thing.
So Jimmy said Brock Browers. I don't think Brock Browers is coming out of the draft.
He's not. He's coming out next year.
He recommit, not to recommit. He didn't declare,
Correct. He didn't declare before he needed to. So that's one of the guys. I get why.
which I understand because of the guys that are coming out. There's some guys in the middle where he would have been drafted.
Next year is the wide receiver tight end draft.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of good tight ends in this draft that are more sleepers because I think a lot of these guys,
Laporta.
for some odd reason,
Laporta's going to be a sleeper.
the
which
tight
is
end
goofy to me.
position has completely. It's not a sleeper. I think most people have him.
I just
in the
don't
top
think
10.
people
He's going to be
aren't-
drafted
yeah.
in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah, people
which
just
is a
aren't talking
sleeper, I
about him
guess.
like Kincaid and Musgrave and
Another guy that you guys don't
Mayer.
have in there, I like, is Mason Fairchild. Like
I don't.
I didn't watch him at all.
I did not.
Now we're tell me about him.
Mason Fairchild, 6'3", 246. He's short for a tight end.
That's Brenton Strange.
But he.
Button says otherwise.
Oh, that's funny. Mason Fairchild should be there. Let me pull up his stats real quick, just so I can have.
And you have that labeled in that folder too.
Way to go, KJ. Amateur.
I'll just pull it up really quick. Sorry,
All right, so I mean,
because he's ranked as 21 by many people. But so he's 6'5", 261 pounds. The dude is kind of a monster. He's a 3-star recruit going into college. Fluid mover, lanky, long, coordinated with soft, reliable hands, shows the ability to adjust to the ball thrown behind him. That's actually one of the reasons why I was looking at it, because he had a habit of he doesn't play with the best quarterback, right? So
At Kansas.
yeah, so that's one of the situations
Not a basketball school. Or not a football school.
to where like he showed the ability to produce as a tight end in Kansas and still not have a good
With
quarterback.
minimum talent around him.
Right. So I think he's kind of a sleeper. This guy might even go undrafted. But I say 6th-round guy that could produce day one.
Okay.
Do I think he will? No. Depends on the
So-
school you're going to.
Real quick, with
Or
the
the-
guys that we have in our top 3, what fitment do you have team-wise?
John, can you bring up
Let's
first
do.
round?
Let's
So
do.
let me do I'll
let's
do a
do
quick breakdown,
draft.
right?
Let's
I'll do a
do-
quick breakdown. So number one,
Thank you.
I have, and most consensus has, Michael Mayer. Number 2, Dalton Kincaid. Number 3, we probably all would agree, Luke Musgrave.
I have
Number 4,
Laporta 3.
Sam Laporta. Number 5, Darnell Washington.
No,
And I think that right, you guys don't like Washington.
I didn't like him at all.
I actually would probably put Schoonmaker way up there, but that's just
I don't
because
like
people don't.
Schoonmaker.
Goonmaker's 6 for me.
It's 10 for me.
Yeah. So I think those 5, only 2 are going to go. Even have the possibility of going in the first round.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
that's it.
If anybody else goes in the first round, it's a reach.
I would say so. In my opinion.
So when I look at these guys, I currently have Musgrave as a second to third round guy, just because it's late in the draft.
Yep.
I don't think you're going to need anybody else. I have Sam Laporta. If you get him in the second, I'm okay with it. But
I
he's
have
probably
the
a
Raiders
third-round guy.
taking Laporta in the second.
Ooh. Ooh.
What I'm trying to think what draft pick that is. That's
I don't know off the top of my head.
Can you
but-
pull up the draft?
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Just because with their issue with what's his name at tight end, Darren Waller.
Yep.
Johnny, can you
Mr.
pull up the
IR.
draft?
It's sunshine.
So you're
39.
at 39. Oh, that's
Ooh.
where you were going. I got
Okay.
you. I would have just done the plus 32.
I mean, do you think that's reaching for Sam
Yes.
Laporta?
I think 71 is probably where you would go,
Okay.
I don't think he'll be there at 71.
which is the beginning of the third. Yeah, I think you'd be surprised. I also, another guy we didn't talk about was Cameron Latu, right?
No, he's
out
dog
of
shit.
Alabama.
Dog shit.
Well,
he's 11.
He's
for
not
me.
utilized.
They don't. Well, they
He's
don't.
Not utilized.
That, but
They
what
did
is
not-
that?
that's
but
true, they
that's
didn't
telling. Why don't they use him?
Exactly.
Soft, strong, 4-star recruit, soft, strong hands, hard to take down, great at finding the ball at his high point, large frame, makes him hard to tackle.
Here, these are my cons for this dude. Gets beat by a bull rush, easily beat. Bad in space for screen block.
I didn't say he was good in the block.
Struggles getting separation. If he doesn't have to, he doesn't give much effort. Legitimately shocked to see this type of game from a Bama player. That's in my notes.
That's
Dude
huge.
is
I mean, that's
not
huge.
good.
That's
Don't
huge.
like him at all. I don't know how he's on the team.
Wow. I mean, that's huge. If that's really what you got out of that, I mean, that's huge. The other guy, you said Zach Kuntz. Did we talk about him?
No, we didn't, but I want to.
Zach Kuntz, can you pull him up, Johnny?
Oh no, I like.
No,
we
we
did.
did
We
talk
did
about
talk
him.
about it.
Long show.
All right. So, I mean, I think that's kind of have.
I like him a
I think
lot.
that's kind of our consensus on tight ends for those 5. This is a draft where this isn't going to be a need, is tackles and tight ends, but it's
Yeah.
going to be a hole filler.
It's a depth.
Yes.
It's a depth filler. Yeah.
Now, not saying the teams don't need him. I'm just saying that the ability and the team needs don't match up where they're supposed to.
Other than the 2 we talked about, Kincaid and Mayer.
And the same thing kind of goes. There's like top 5. There's 5 tackles that might be taken in the first 2 rounds, but outside of that, it just kind of floats from there.
I mean, we didn't even talk about Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, we did. We talked a little bit
South
about
Dakota
him.
State.
Yeah, we talked about him.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 7th. for me.
Majestic mane.
I like him. I like him.
I liked him a lot.
But we had the average size for
I have
his
him as
position.
a gem in the 4th.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably a 5th round guy. 5th, 6th round. It could be undrafted. I just know the last 3 years, the average tight ends taken in a draft is 13.
Yeah.
We talked about 5. I could go into Marshawn Ford, Thomas Greeny, Blake Whitehart, Braden Willis,
Thomas
Ben
Greeny, I like.
Sims,
He's my 10.
We didn't
Noah
even,
Gindorf, Kenmore Gamble, Kyle Patterson, Daniel Barker, Davis Allen.
we talk about Will Mallory out of you.
But I mean, a lot of these guys. How many of these
We did
guys
not.
late?
Will Mallory is actually what I copied all my graphics of, but he should have a Will Mallory one. Will Mallory. I knew you were going to say that just because of your alma mater.
I liked him
Has
for the
the
most
burst
part.
off the line down the field, making him a wide receiver prospect over a tight end.
I think
Solid
he's-
blocker in the run game, ability to have big plays.
Late 4th, early 5th, 5th round
So
guy.
a lot of these guys seem
mean,
to be wide receivers.
yes,
We think.
a lot of them. So like my 3 to
A lot
like
of them are
7
wide receiver
similar.
fours.
But the problem now is in the NFL, you need it seems like you want a guy that's good in both. You want a good passer, pass. You want a
need a guy
good.
that
You
can
want a
block.
good.
I think-
guy
Depends on the
offensively.
offense they go to. Like at Gesicki.
Well, I think
Yeah.
I think to
That's a
excel
good
or
comp
be a
with it.
standout, you have to be a wide receiver that can block,
That's
not
what I'm
a
saying.
blocker that can catch.
Yeah.
And the funny part is the greatest.
That's my Kincaid comp.
The
is Gesicki.
greatest are blockers that can catch, not the other way around. It's like when you look at a Kelsey, he can block, but he excels in the
Excels in the
catching
catch.
game.
Yeah. He's good enough to
Gronkowski-
stay on the field to block.
Gronkowski can block, but he excels in the passing game. Kittle can block, but excels in the passing game. These aren't receivers.
No.
These are guys that can block but have phenomenal hands
Yep.
and,
And
are
that's.
great in the
I mean,
passing
that's
game.
what some of these guys have, and the others don't.
And every single tight end that excels is phenomenal in traffic. And that's where I
Contested
think it
catch,
comes
yeah.
down to is, are these guys good? No, across the middle. Just across the middle in general.
Yeah.
Can they take a hit
Like
without
Laporta,
dropping the ball?
Laporta's going to take a hit. I mean, he played Big Ten. He took some hits.
That's why
Yeah,
I love
he did.
Laporta.
I
Because
like him a lot.
That's why he's my three.
Laporta to me, and I don't know if it's a color thing with like the team, but Keith Miller. Like I love Laporta as a Heath
Bless you.
Miller kind of guy because he's consistent against
Heath. Oh.
every attack.
Heath
He
Miller.
was Heath Miller.
Heath Miller.
I thought you
Oh,
said
from
Keith,
the
and you threw me
Steelers?
off. I
Yeah,
was like, who the
okay,
fuck?
yeah.
Heath Miller
I thought you
is
said
kind
Keith,
of what he
yeah.
reminds me of. He's not as big as Heath Miller, but he plays as big as Heath Miller.
Yeah, he does. He
And when I
does.
was watching him, it's like I keyed in, I was like Keith Miller. But I don't know if that's because of the color of the jersey or because take him out of the jersey. Do I think the same thing?
I mean,
you know
it's
what I
probably
mean?
the
Like,
same thing with
okay.
the comp for Kittle. I mean, but like you said, Dalton Schultz. I know Dallas Goedert's probably a better comp for him.
I like Dallas Goedert just because when I was watching him play, that's kind of what I felt like was a Dallas Goedert. I think that's it for this show. Do you guys have anything else that you want to talk about today? Anything that's off the head? Like we said, we're talking about offensive tackles.
So go through the breakdown again for the top 5.
So our top 5 for tight ends, we have Michael Mayer, Dalton Kincaid, Luke Musgrave. You guys didn't have this one. Darnell
Sam.
Washington.
I do not have him.
Sam Laporta was our 4, and then Darnell Washington was my 5. I think all 3 of us kind of agree. If we had to put a guy at round 6 to 5, Josh Weil is one of those guys that we could probably reach on.
I think so.
him.
Like Tucker Kraft, Zach Kuntz, Will Mallory, and Josh Weil.
It's just so
They're
hard.
all the same guy. So like in my opinion, my
Okay, I
5
can
to
see that.
9 or my 5 to 8, they're all interchangeable. Now, if I had to pick, I don't know why I did this, but looking at it now, Josh Wild's my dude.
That's
I
why.
would
That's
like
why
Josh
I'm saying
Weil.
if we all would
So-
had to pick that fringe guy,
Yeah.
Josh Weil is probably the guy that makes it in our top 5
And
at 5.
it's because of the
6.
contested catch.
Correct. And then that's kind of where I would leave it. That the reason I don't have Kuntz up there is because school. Like it's just if you're not playing anybody.
I mean,
right?
like that's the same with Tucker Kraft too,
correct.
right? They both
and
come
that's
from
why
small
Tucker Kraft's at
schools, but-
15 for me.
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah, I loved him.
because
I
of
love that
school.
tape.
So, yeah, but it's really easy to look as a good wide receiver against okay guys.
Sure.
Because if you like, it's
I mean,
hard.
you know,
it's hard because
Randy Moss went to Marshall. I don't know. I'm saying.
I'm not even gonna go over that because I don't know enough about Randy Moss's college career.
No, I don't
To go, hey, he was a standout, or hey, he wasn't a standout, and he
Just saying.
excelled in the pros.
Just saying.
So,
Just saying.
all right. That being said, Johnny, what's your takeaways for the show? Is there anything that you learned today, or is there any takeaways you got for today?
Number 2 receiver in history.
Number 1.
Just kidding.
Randy Moss is definitely up there. But yeah, just have a wonderful Sunday. You know, prepare for your work week, unfortunately, and be safe.
All right. How about you, Wheels? Anything from you today?
I mean, I think we all agree that Sam Laporta is going to be
Yes.
a dog.
Yes.
I like him a lot. Him and Mark Evans. If you guys got to have a chance, go look at some of Mark Evans' highlights.
I'm gonna watch this dude now because
I
you're,
like
you're
him.
high on this guy.
I like him.
All right.
He's real high on him. A
And-
little too
and
high.
tell me
for
if
my
I'm wrong. You know,
comfort.
tell me if I'm wrong. I'm fine with it, but I like the guy.
The thing we have to remember is we're not like the guys. This is just something we do as a hobby.
This isn't our job.
This
We're not
is-
paid to
I'm
do this
not paid.
constantly. I wish I was. Shit. I wish this was my job.
I
boys.
I mean, it's
do.
all right.
That's the goal.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, that's the goal. Like
That's
it,
the goal.
subscribe.
So
But
We
that
there.
starts with you.
We got to
Yeah.
we got to try to be accurate, right?
Exactly. That's the point.
And this
Steve.
is our first year doing this, so I mean,
Yeah.
It'll get better next year.
Exactly.
Or worse.
we're gonna build
Steve,
up.
your takeaways.
Or worse. Thank you guys for being here. If you're still here, Jimmy, I love you. God bless you guys.
He has to love you.
Like, subscribe. That's not true. It's by choice. Please like, subscribe, support the show. Reach out to us. something. He wants to get better. We can get better. You got to let us know how to get better. Is it more communication online? Is it whatever?
I can tell you
Talk to
something
us.
right now.
Yeah.
Clean, crisp, and concise. Get to the damn point, bro.
Just saying. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. God bless you.
Today, Junior.
Today, Junior. All right. My takeaway for today actually is going to be a kind of a rant.
I think
And
you said
that-
clean, crisp, concise.
That is because of somebody on Twitter by the name of, was it ML Football?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Put up this absurd take of all-time quarterbacks and had Aaron Rodgers above Otto Graham. And if you ever go look at Otto Graham and his stats, I will tell you right now, Otto Graham is perfect in the playoffs. So you want to talk about a guy who won
Oh, jeez.
8 world titles?
Was it 8?
He won them all
He won every single one of them.
in Cleveland. And he did it 5 years in a row and then another 3 years after that.
Oh, shit.
And then let's look at, I think he's a 2-to-1 on his touchdown to interception ratio, which Aaron Rodgers is really phenomenal there. But look at the difference in the game. Pure run game back then. And this is a quarterback that led his team to the world championship 8 times. So
Here you go, John.
for all you people that don't know
Oh, he's looking up
anything,
stats right now.
for all
He's
you
looking
people
up
that don't
stats
know
right now.
anything about Otto Graham, don't know anything about all these quarterbacks that played in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, maybe you should go look before you start throwing Patrick Mahomes up there.
There's always going to be he played an easier time.
Yeah.
He played on
that
a
was
run
a
time.
That's what I was about to say. That was a run time for
Yeah.
the NFL was
Yeah.
the 60s,
That was
70s.
before passing was even like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
God.
oh, we could
It
throw
go
this?
through the air.
just don't even go there. And actually, all
We
of
won't-
these guys actually made a window for these quarterbacks to play nowadays. So Tarkenton was a rushing quarterback
Yep.
in the 70s, 60s.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was like 60.
I think it was 60s.
60,
So,
late
like,
60s.
if you don't know anything about Tarkenton, and you put him at, 24, you don't know
So,
shit about quarterbacks that
let's
played
be
before your
honest.
era.
A lot of these guys on Twitter are just going to say whatever they can to get
It was
people
so
going.
bad. It was so bad.
I mean, I've seen some terrible
I was
takes.
hoping he was going to bring it up. I was hoping he was going to find
I
it.
mean, that guy.
Find
I
what?
don't-
That tweet.
It's ML's 3rd ranking, and
I'm
then
not looking for
he put Antonio Brown on wide receivers as number 3 overall.
Oh, come on.
For
You know what? I'll never
Diva,
listen to this
maybe.
dude's rankings ever. They're horrible.
Garbage.
What are people's rankings, as we talked about with Brandon before? Opinions. Brandon.
I
Bobby
get it.
Wagner.
Yeah, but you have to have some. You have to have some. At least he had some stats to his opinion.
Oh,
No,
man.
he
Not
no.
a top
His
tight
stats.
end.
His
It was
thing
based
was
on
He is
garbage.
not.
no. His all Brandon's argument is that PFF put out that Wagner was the best
Because
According
he's
to,
a stat monger.
PFF put out Wagner was the best. They
Last
had him as
year.
13.
last year.
No
Oh.
offense, Brandon, but
So-
you gotta watch some game film.
But that's just one
Bobby Wagner
analytics.
was not good this year.
One of no,
He was a top 15, top 20 maybe, but he wasn't amazing. But that being said, that's all I was saying. I think people need to stop this.
140 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a career high 6'6".
I think people need to stop this argument
That's
with
pretty good,
these
actually.
greats of all
Good
time.
defense, though.
If you've never watched Otto Graham play football, which
defense.
I haven't,
There's film on him.
No, I haven't.
YouTube is a thing.
I know, but I haven't watched Otto Graham. But if you go look at the stats, this dude was phenomenal.
Especially for the time he played.
I think he's got a 2 to 3 to 1 win ratio.
yeah, it's gross.
Phenomenal. He's the most winningest quarterback, I think, in the NFL
Browns-
percentage-wise.
The Browns blew their load early in the NFL
So,
era.
all right. That's all I'm going to say for today. I hope you guys
AFL.
have a wonderful week and have a
One last thing, don't forget Gessick's gifts.
Yes. Sir.
Yeah, guess a gift, guys. Please, if you want to reach out in our comments and chats
Or Twitter.
or Twitter, that's a great point. Reach out to Deep Threats. Actually, I'd prefer you do that. Reach out to Deep Threats on Twitter if you want anything or trying to request anything, and you, because then you can probably DM us and we can try to get it to you in some way, shape, or form.
There you go.
So, love you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and we're gonna come back at you Wednesday and start talking quarterbacks and running backs. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Oh,
Peace out.
buddy.
Goodbye.
Bye.